What are you having for dinner, Johnny?
Let's go, fellas. Let's go.
You like
It's
food?
episode
Do you like
249.
food?
It's the last episode of the year. Let's
Really?
go. You excited?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
it
not
is.
doing
And
one
we're all-
next week?
No, we're not.
And we're all giving presents to each other. You brought yours, right, George? You have a present prepared
Yeah,
for someone?
no, I got mine, yeah.
Okay,
Well,
good.
I
I was
brought
checking
mine.
you didn't forget.
I
You didn't
brought-
forget your present.
I brought you guys something.
What'd you get?
It's
He didn't give a shit.
this bottle. Hang on.
He's looking
This
at us.
bottle of vitamin D3 supplements because your motherfuckers
Let's
never go
go,
outside.
dude. Let's
vitamin
go.
D, everybody.
That's
Take a
actually
supplement.
crazy. That's actually crazy because I got you all L-theanine. That's crazy, bro.
Wait, what? What
Yeah.
now?
L-theanine.
Oh, you haven't
I'm
heard?
about to get my
I've
AG1
not- is
pack.
that
You
some
better
kind
slow
of-
down. You better slow down.
Jack, you should
it
be
like-
used to taking some L's.
It like chills you
You're
out.
so
when it goes
funny,
into
bro.
focus.
He's so
It's-
funny.
Oh my
He's
god.
so good.
Oh wow.
He's been waiting
I like
for
that.
this.
I
I like
didn't see
that.
it coming.
That was such a
Oh,
good setup
wow.
too. That was actually really good.
That's crazy.
Oh, that's
Wow.
Avaz's gift to you. Actually, that's Avaz's gift
That's
given in real
That's
time.
his gift.
Oh
I
my
appreciate
God.
that gift. I will
Kinda
be throwing it in the
dominated.
trash.
I brought
Alright.
everyone some cheese on crackers.
Ooh,
can
what
have
kind of
I'm
cheese?
low key starting to get hungry, so
I don't know what the cheese is.
wish
It's
I had
very
some.
viral Trader Joe's cheese right now. I find it better than Brie, personally. It
Wait,
tastes like a
what?
pea.
viral Trader
A
Joe's
viral
cheese.
Trader Joe's cheese.
What?
French pave.
Pave?
Pave?
Pave.
Pave cheese.
Pave cheese. It's quite spreadable. I think
French
it's
be
better
like-
than. I think it's much better.
pave from Trader
Yes.
Joe's.
Yes, yes. I find it much better than Brie, personally. I'm
A
not
square
the
of
biggest Brie
soft
fan.
ripened cheese. Nice. That
That's
looks
good.
pretty
That
sick, to be
sounds
honest, man.
good.
That's cool. All right. Well, we're gonna try
You know-
something new this episode. We're actually gonna start talking about the topics
Aliens?
right away, and we're not
No,
gonna
I
talk
was
about
gonna-
drones.
What?
We're not gonna
Oh,
talk about
dude.
aliens.
Oh,
we're not
what
going
the
there,
hell?
fellas.
My
Dude,
gift,
we're
my
gonna-
gift was
put it in
aliens.
news.
My
You
gift
have
was
been
aliens.
baited.
though.
You can do
That
it
was my
after.
gift.
You can do it after. You can do it to wrap
Okay.
up the episode, okay?
This
But let's start
guy-
out with the actual
he's
what
so
we're here to
pissed
talk
in the
about,
comments.
okay? Let's just get right into the news, Solomon, and we'll save the we'll save the fun stuff for later, okay? We'll just
This
get right into
podcast has
the
gone
hero bands.
downhill.
We didn't know this was coming. We just happened to schedule it today at 4 p.m. PT, and then they released the format for Stage 1 next year.
I haven't actually looked at
Overwatch
it.
Esports, that is.
Which is crazy.
We're all reacting live
And
right
so
now.
a couple
Live
of big
reaction.
changes. First of all, hero bands. If you didn't know, Jaws, they're doing hero bands.
Oh no, I saw
So,
that. I retweeted that.
And it's pretty much the same format as EWC, except the loser of the previous map always picks first. Whereas before in EWC, I think that there was like pick who if you want to go first or second or whatever.
Yeah, it was
and,
a bit weird.
So they got that, and also they moved around the map pool. And the map format. So now it's control, of course, but it's hybrid flashpoint with one flashpoint map, and it's push clash with
No
one
one
clash
is
map.
picking Flashpoint.
So
I'm sorry.
they got rid of flash/clash, and instead pushing clash together. So yeah, this just happened like literally an hour ago. So let's just get into the meat and potatoes. Like starting with hero bands. We happy?
This guy's talking about food again. That's crazy.
He's talking about food again.
I'm so
He wants to
hungry,
go
it's
eat his
crazy.
steak dinner, bro. We've
It's
already
crazy.
grilled him.
Please.
We've already grilled him. Like a steak.
Sustenance.
Grill his steak.
Nutrition.
I think hero bands are good, guys. I think hot take. Hero bands are pretty sick. The only problem I had with hero bands when we looked at EWC was how long it took between maps. That was my only concern with how like the show flowed. Was we would go to a map. We'd start the series. They do the pick and ban or whatever. We'd go to a map and it's like, okay, we do control. We win control. Okay. Now we go to a small break where we're like, okay, now we have to do the hero bands, and they are on stage, and the coaches come together, shake hands, okay, now we ban this, okay, we ban this, we ban this. Soldier 76 ban moment from Rascal where he panicked and banned Soldier 76 because he couldn't think of anything. That I think that's the only big issue for hero bands with me, is that the downtime in the show could possibly be longer. It depends on how the ban system is implemented in the run of show for broadcast, because I'm afraid of the downtime is the only thing. And no one likes downtime between maps. So yeah, I wanted the players and shit, they gotta be fucking instant with this shit. They gotta be fucking quick. It's on obviously the production side of things to help with that, and it's also on the players and the teams and the coaches to be very quick on this, because yeah, I am curious of the time limit they actually get to pick a hero ban.
We're gonna see so many awful bans next year. It's gonna be crazy. Like the teams, some of these teams and players are not gonna be prepared to do the great prediction, and then we'll get into a map, and we're like, wait a minute, what? How does this ban make sense? It's happening. It's gonna take some time to get good at it.
I just want to comment about what George said here. I think the timing issues most been solved. Like in Super Cup so far, they're only taking 1:30 between maps. Maximum
that's
2
actually
minutes. So
good. Wow.
Yeah, so between maps, they go to a 1:30, or I think at the most they've done a 2-minute break between maps, and then you come back and it's all sort of players are back in seats and they're loading in. So like they are moving through the bans giga quickly.
Because on EW, if you remember, Avril, like EWC, it was like it was sometimes like 5 minutes, and I think it's because the ban system was very new and like everybody wasn't kind of used to it. But if they are down in Soup Cup, by the way, Soup Cup. Soup Cup is insane.
So hungry, man.
Goated name.
Soup. And it's
crazy.
It's good to know that they've already condensed it down to that long, because I think in my head I was like 2 minutes has to be the max, because viewer retention and like players like getting into game going next, because people always like start the fucking game, you know what, fuck you buddy, we're gonna have hero bans.
Wow.
Yo,
that's not the Christmas spirit. That's not the Christmas spirit.
I have like an alternate take on that comparatively.
Okay.
So I agree with the keeping downtime low, but I also think hero bans offers something interesting that other esports take advantage of, that I think actually add value production wise, which is like, if you take an equivalent example, which would be like draft and ban for League, for example. Like, those are actually considered extremely hype moments when like the bans happen, and everyone's like,
that is true.
Oh shit. Like, and to me, I think part of that, obviously it's a little bit different because like a League game is like, there are a lot more, it feels a lot more compartmentalized, because it's like, it's not changing like a map within a series. You're just playing like the same map over and over again. Like, there's less moving components to a degree just with the draft ban phase. Well, I guess it's maybe equivalent, because like you replace the map pick with the draft. But like, I personally think that if we do it right on the production side and the partners do right, the hero bans could actually be very exciting for viewers, especially when you have like broadcasts talking about like, oh, they love playing these comps, like these are one of their best comps, like, and then like the ban comes up and it's like, oh wait, we just fucking banned Quartz's like Sojourn or something, right? Or Ash, and it's like, oh wow, they can't play that, like that's crazy, like, and they're going into this map. Like, I think there offers actually a lot of interesting narrative possibilities with that could actually be hyped up, that actually would increase viewer retention in the downtime comparatively if it's done properly. But also, it just depends on how it's executed and why. And also, once again, this would still be something semi-new to Overwatch, like it was at EWC. So, like, when you introduce changes like that, sometimes viewers may not be used to them, especially your average, like, amoeba, like, YouTube chat viewers. So, like, you have to kind of, like, deal with the fact that it's going to be a new experience for people and just accept that, like, everyone's going to get over it.
I mean, I think that's going to be very exciting. I think this is a great kind of like energizing the esports moment, where everyone who tuned in already knew kind of like what Overwatch Esports was, how it's played. And sometimes if it was a boring meta, people would just be like, I don't want to watch the Maga meta. And it's like, now with hero bans, it's like an opportunity for people to get back, tune in for the first time, see lots of different compositional variety, hopefully. And hopefully it turns out well. I think it's a huge moment, actually. I mean, it's the biggest moment since Overwatch League went down. Like last year, you know, like it kept things afloat, but like this is a huge moment like where Overwatch Esports could go in, like, if you look at like the next 2-3 years.
It is definitely a step in the right direction. It does create a lot of narrative points, and I do agree with you, Connor. Like, a lot of people do find the pick and ban of League of Legends like very exciting. It's very cool, right? But the way I see it, especially with League, is that it's like, okay, the analytical heads love this one. They're gonna love this pick and ban phase. Like, they absolutely love this shit. I think it's more like 50-50. I don't 100% know, but I feel like it's more 50-50.
I don't know the broadcast stats for League. I don't know what the broadcast stats are like.
No, neither do I.
We don't know.
Like,
I'm just riffing
off of what you're saying.
It could be interesting. Yeah,
and I think it is from like a story perspective as well, for teams and players and whatnot. Banning heroes and, you know, going to different maps, so that, banning Quartz's Widow or like whatever, like that's super exciting. And with how they're doing it. If they do reduce it down to like a minute, it's gonna obviously shake up the meta a ton. Hopefully it just flows very well. And I do want to see on the broadcast side of things cool graphics, bro. I want to see like
Cool
boom,
graphics.
Soldier,
EWC
red
style.
pointing arrow, Mr. Beast face. Like, oh my god, they banned Soldier, bro. Like they banned this thing. I think it's gonna be really cool for a lot of storylines for players and teams as well, because it's. Look at like Space Station or London Spitfire or whatever. It's like, okay, they banned Lucio against Astro, you know, like, oh, Space Station, they're fucked, you know, Astro, Lucio, pretend you know doesn't exist. You know, just those small things are really going to tie in. And the metas, in theory, if it is a hard Malga meta, even 1 to 2 maps where there's a ban of a Malga and then there's a ban of like Juno. That will change things up so fucking much that every series will feel so much different, which is perfect. And even if it is just like a ban of Malga, this one thing, and then it's Malga for the rest of the series, like it's still changing things. Like and I think that's important. Everybody was pogging at Gibraltar, you know, when we get to see Winston. Like, yeah, I think it's going to be sick.
Let me add something real quick.
Sorry,
like,
go on.
In I think at the EWC, the bans were super important because the state of the meta at that point was open enough, and there were enough teams there with their own individual identities that, like, if you do ban X and Y against a certain team, like, that's pretty significant. Like, you guys mentioned Quartz, Funny Astro players with either, you know, more significant gaps in the hero pool, or just people that are like way more famous for certain heroes, or where their specific strengths are. What I'm seeing in Soup Cup right now, though, is very interesting in the sense that I don't think the bans have been like that impactful, because every team is playing basically the same thing. We're in a very heavy hazard, brawly, but also pseudo dive meta. The DPS is basically the same. When one hero gets banned in Soup, basically, for example, let's say Sojin gets banned because she's quite strong. Everyone just defaults to Tracer. Everyone's like, okay, both Sojin players instantly lock in this Tracer as well, and we're still playing the exact same thing. I'm not saying that like that's a bad thing. I just think it also depends on the meta, where like, are the bans in this meta actually going to be impactful, or are the bans in this meta just going to be like, you literally just play the next best thing and it doesn't have that much impact? Because right now, you could argue that the meta is pretty settled in Korea, at least. It's not that super settled because it's changing like week to week and whatever, or like within the few days of break, whatever they get. But yeah, it's not a bad thing, but it is just to note that like bans don't necessarily mean like you're going to get insane variety. It could just be the meta is very settled and a ban becomes more of a throwaway. But
it's a fail-safe for Stockholm Malga meta.
I think so as well. I think it is a fail-safe for stuff like that. But it's
Malga, Ban Reaper, you know.
But Soup Cup is proving that it's not a guarantee. Like, wow, all this variety now. That's not a guarantee either. I'll just
Indubitably.
Shut the fuck up. What are you saying?
Just eating yours, Trader Joe's cheese.
Now, Solomon, pull up Mr. Beast in the suit, in the hoodie with the suit.
Okay, so the next part of this announcement was obviously the maps, but I think, you know, I don't know if you have any hard takes on the maps. It was kind of nice. You know, the fact that they kind of like uncombined Flash and Clash, I haven't thought about it too much, but
Flash is just ass, bro.
I'm just glad we don't have to see Flash and we don't have to see Clash.
suit.
You can actually like map pick around it. So I'm just
I don't understand why they.
I
don't understand. Well, first of all, that's Matt Mr. X score. That's Matt Mr. X score, by the way. And secondly, why
is it?
Why? No, this is about Overwatch now.
Oh right.
Why did this is just a fun visual aid? So why did on Johnny's point? Why I don't understand necessarily the logic for combining the combined game modes. It was like Flashpoint and Escort, right? Or
Flashpoint hybrid.
I personally don't agree with those being a combined hero pool. I would much prefer it be Control hybrid with their standalone hero pools, and then you put like Escort, Push, and then Clash Flashpoint together.
I think it's probably because the map pool for Clash and Flashpoint are very small, so they have a lot more to kind of choose from to balance out the picks. But then it's like, also on that same note, there's one fucking Clash and one Flashpoint.
Yeah, they've only added like they're not even in the pool really. So like to me,
so
and also like on average, everyone agrees. And also you could rework this if we do the different groupings. But like I think everyone here tends to agree that still the most exciting maps on average to watch are Control and Hybrid as well. Yeah. So like
Well,
I
Escort
would
for me,
much
but yeah.
Escort.
Yeah, sure, and even
oh,
Escort, but
yeah.
but Escort still has a lot of maps under its belt that you could throw into the pool.
Yeah.
Flash
you know,
is just not
like
good.
I would much rather us focus on building, and I understand also these are considerations to have here because I'm sure the OWCS team was probably like at the table being like, here's maybe there's an option here, and then Team 4 was like, no, like we really want to have like more of our new game mode showcase to a degree and not thrown into a pool where we're gonna, like,
Really?
shoot
I
them.
don't know.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's
In
true.
the
I don't know if that's
past-
true. I'm simply saying.
In the,
I don't know if
I
that's
mean,
true.
we're both speculating here, but in the past, you know, the developer team was rumored to be pretty heavily involved. I don't know how much involved the developers are these days.
Well, I'm just basing it off of what some of inside knowledge that I have, and also second
inside knowledge. Okay,
And
I
so-
have none of that. So
guy's a
you
Noah.
know,
And-
This guy's a
okay.
Noah.
And secondly,
Alright.
I'm also basing off of, but also I'm not saying that's what happened in this case. I'm just saying based off historical like things that have happened, including recent times. So like
In
it's just
theory,
like
that doesn't make sense. Yes,
because also the whole point of the esports scene is to help market the game. So like
Yeah.
logically, there's a connection there, right? So like
yeah,
you know,
If
to a
there's new
degree,
map,
like.
new mode, show it off.
But like I know, I'm just saying, for even ignoring all this is all corpo business shit. I'm simply saying that like I would much rather see a larger pool of control and hybrid maps because I find those game modes more interesting to watch on average, or escort, like Avril said. Like I don't like those can being combined, like we're putting like Flashpoint or like Clash, like especially Flashpoint, and there's like, oh, it's in the hybrid pool too, so then we have like one less potential hybrid map that could be played, even though like I'd much rather just see more hybrid variety, even though I also know that like teams themselves oftentimes in Overwatch history and recently have been pushing for less total map variety. So like if you combine the pools and put Flashpoint in the hybrid pool, you technically have less total different types of maps you can play. But like, it's just my own.
I think that's
So
what
they
it is.
cut
I
from
think that's what
16
it
to
is.
13, right?
you bring
They
it
cut
up?
from, I think Stockholm was 16 maps. The math could be off. I need to double check this. But I think it was 16, and now it's 13. So they removed a Clash, and they removed a Push, and they removed a Flashpoint.
Good
So
map
to
pool,
to
I think.
to OC's point, when we talked about this in the previous episode, like I agree there were too many maps in the pool, and that was something that needed to probably be cut down for the sake of the teams, or maybe some just consistency. There's a lot of maps out there that people don't necessarily want to play and watch anyway. And a lot of those maps actually, unfortunately, fall into the new maps that have been released. Outside of the Flashpoint maps, I have not been a big fan of. Definitely not Clash, but there's not. Push hasn't even been that good. Push is starting to improve a lot. Like I think the new Push maps have definitely been better than the old ones.
Oh, I mean,
But reducing it down to like just 4 categories to pick from reduces the overall amount of maps, because each category you need like 3-ish maps in there to make it fair. So you have to cut one of the categories out to drop the map pool just straight away. I guess the other thing you could have done is made hybrid its own thing, and then Push Clash Flash could have been its own
would have been
thing. Which would have been just
crazy.
like, yeah, you get to pick one. It's an option between one of each. You got one Push, one Clash, and one
Yeah.
Flashpoint in this pool. Which actually, I don't particularly.
I don't think that would sell.
Okay.
I don't think they'd be able to
Nah.
sell that as like, it's like just too few of the new map game modes. I just don't think they'd be able to sell that from like a partner
Looking
level.
at this whole map pool here, I think this is a pretty good map pool, honestly.
Like, I don't have an issue
There's
with the
a
map
big-
pool, just
yeah.
the grouping.
I think it's-
I have
I
no
think it's
issue
good.
with the map pool.
Yeah. The map pool here, there's a lot of variety, like a ton. Like, look at hybrid / Flashpoint. I think there's a decent amount of variety there. Although maybe you tend towards dive, like a little bit Iconvalda, Numbani, a little dive action. And then Blizzard Ward, you could run Rush, you can run Dive. Nah, you can't really run Poke. I guess you can on second. But yeah, and Push / Clash. I mean, no one's going to pick Hanaoka. Let's be real. But Colosseo, Esperanza, 2 very different maps, and then Escort as well. I think overall, despite obviously how it's laid out, like I think the maps themselves, I think they're very good. I think this is probably one of the best ways they could have done it, to be honest. Because
Matt was cooking something on Twitter. Can we roast Matt?
Yeah,
Let's roast Matt. Yeah,
Was Matt
tweet.
tweeting about Overwatch?
Wait, Matt, tweeting
Yeah,
about
he
not
actually he
sports?
didn't tweet about the NBA and
What?
stuff. He and
That's
parlays.
crazy.
He
That's the first time in what, 4 years, 5 years he's done that.
That's insanity.
That's the first from Matt, actually. God
but
damn
I'm
it.
actually struggling to find the exact tweet now. So
Deleted it.
All you have to do
oh,
is
I
go-
found it. I
just go-
found it. I'm
what
posting
are you
it on
looking for?
Discord right
Okay.
now. Here we go. No, go down. Clash.
Wait, I
/
agree with
Flashpoint,
Matt!
Escort /
No!
Push, and then keep hybrid and control standalone.
No, I
Disaster.
prefer escort to hybrid personally, so I actually prefer what we have now.
Oh,
instead
I
of
agree.
I don't
with
like
Matthew
Clash
Morello.
Flash. I don't like Clash Flash.
Yeah,
I'm honestly
I
like.
would say they probably don't like either. Like, no one's. But the thing is, no one's picking Clash as the joke, so that will always be hybrid or whatever it was, the other mode.
Yes.
Push and Clash are
It's Push and
together
Clash.
currently.
Pushing
Yeah,
Clash,
Push and
everybody's
Clash.
picking Push.
Everyone will pick Push. Yeah.
Everybody's picking
Well,
Push.
because I think if you actually put Clash and Flashpoint together, there is theoretically a chance Clash would get picked.
No way, he made a good point. No Royal Hedgehog. We're saying I'm at least saying.
I'm
No
gonna say it. This is one of the few times I've said this ever in my life. I might be in Matt Morello's side. I might be on Mr. X's side.
I don't
here.
like
Yeah,
Clash Flash.
crazy.
Put him on the back burner, bro.
I kind of like it because we've even talked about like people aren't gonna pick it, but at least if you force them into a category together against two equally unattractive options and teams, they might pick one of them.
Let's force. Well, at least I don't.
Well, they're doing it anyways. You're gonna force it either way, right? So like at least you should try to force it in any sort of format.
Escort hybrid control.
I think
I
this
am.
is a perfect way of doing it. Personally,
I'm pretty basic.
Once again,
sorry.
I'm not like upset over this. I'm not upset over this. I'm just simply saying this is how I would prefer it. I would prefer it like this. Like you're a dark chocolate lover or a milk chocolate lover. It's
Dark chocolate all the way, baby.
No one
Dork.
likes milk chocolate,
agree.
dude.
That's
Dark
not true.
chocolate,
Americans love milk chocolate, and that's directly related to many of our
well,
issues.
That's.
So
Yeah,
we need
Americans
to,
have
we
been
need
wrong
to,
about many things.
that's directly related to many of our issues.
Okay.
All right.
is a crazy
You guys ready to move on from this topic? Anything?
Oh,
Any last words on this bit right here? There was like exact details announced about like groups and like relegation and like some playoff stuff and things like that. I think of that nature, but I don't think there's anything that's like too important to bring up
Drastic.
right now. I don't think we have a lot to get through, so I don't
31st,
think
bro. That's crazy.
that's
I think
crazy,
hero.
bro.
I
And
think
that's
hero
regular
bans
season
and
even.
that are very big. Yeah, January 30. This is a really. Is this the early? When did OWCS
This is the
start? This year?
earliest.
When did it
This
start?
is
this
the
year?
earliest.
This is the
April
earliest.
Is
one,
this
pretty
the
sure.
earliest?
Wait,
Is this the
started
earliest that
April this year, right?
Overwatch as a competitive
It's
season
ever
has
started.
started in
The,
like 5 years?
The Overwatch League preseason was in December. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. And
For
then
which for
they started like
2018
late
or
January.
just all the
Yeah, that's the
years? I'm
inaugural
trying to
2018 season. Yeah,
Inaugural season.
I need to double check that. Here's a fun side story for you. Dante left some stuff in my car from we were doing a work thing together, and so he was like, "No, I left my inaugural season bottle and like a Doomfist little what were they called? The little."
Oh, Funko Pop?
Funko Pop or whatever. So I had to ship this back to him because he really didn't want to lose his beaten up inaugural season water bottle. And I went to UPS and he paid $52 just so he could keep his inaugural season bottle in the Funko Pop. So yeah, he's got his priorities straight.
I can't believe Johnny gets to talk about his Funko Pop story, but we can't talk about aliens. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's actually
Anyway,
It's almost like one is related to
Anyway,
Overwatch. That's crazy, bro. I'm trying to double check the preseason. When was the preseason? The 2018 preseason.
Oh, 42
Oh, it was in
days and
December.
9 hours, 32 minutes, and 55.
Wow, 54.
Oh.
42 days.
53.
But either way, I was just
53.
more. This is insane how early this season is starting because
Yeah.
even back when we had $400 million circulating in the ecosystem, that shit was starting in like April, and like
Yeah.
it was like we had
6
like
months.
6 months.
It's
Like we
crazy.
had a burn rate equivalent of like fucking Theranos. Like we were doing some crazy shit like at the time. So I love that we were doing like an early season finally. Like
Finally.
thank fucking
It's
God.
not
Here we
just
go.
an early season, it's also starting really late. Finishing really late, sorry. So, like, we start in Jan and end in
That's a full year.
Which is
Look at that.
kind of fucking awesome, guys. Oh my god, a full year of Overwatch Esports.
That's
fucking
crazy.
go.
I'm so
the
excited.
off seasons suck in
Dude.
general
Yes.
for like most
Yes.
products.
At
Yes.
least I would just sit on my ass for like 6 months and just play Overwatch and do nothing. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Here we
it
are.
blows. It's
got a full
not
year.
fun, bro.
Yeah,
It also fills you with anxiety and dread.
I'm not
Anxiety
gonna.
and
I'm not. Yeah. That's too long of an off season. I'm gonna refer from other comments, but it's too long of an off season.
Okay,
sure, I would say.
dude, what is this? What is he? He's just dropping small hints to like.
No,
things that
it's
he's
not as small as
saying.
anything.
He
I was
likes
just gonna
dropping
roast you.
breadcrumbs.
I was just gonna roast you.
Oh,
fuckers.
you're gonna shit on me? Huh?
I was
How
gonna
you
roast.
shit
I
on
was just
me?
gonna roast you, fuckers. Like everyone's like, man, it's so hard to only work 6 months of the year. Oh, like. So I was just gonna be
He
like,
doesn't
oh
have a
man,
job,
like these
man.
fuckers are, yeah, like most people that would love kill for that, but at the same time, like, yeah, it's too long of an off season for the product, and it's
thinking
too long of an
viewers.
off season for the esport.
Speaking about doing some work, Notice how the days are shorter, but your to-do lists aren't. Power through your busy days with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. From breakfast to dinner and anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled and feeling your best, whether you like routine or enjoying mixing things up. Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add to your box, like keto cookies, pressed juices and smoothies. Don't know if they have cheese you can add, Avast, but we'll look into that for you. Don't let shorter days slow you down. Stay energized with America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. Factor lets you do you. Choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. Because Factor's meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only how Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals. And check this out. Factor is cheaper than takeout and dining out. Put the money you save towards holiday shopping or reaching your financial goals. Find guilt-free comfort foods like home-style chicken and gravy and loaded mashed potato pork chops. Feel-good vegan options like sweet potato and chickpea curry and globally inspired flavors like Peruvian shrimp and red pepper cauli grits. There's no sacrificing quality for convenience with Factor. Weekly menus offer ways to treat yourself to a restaurant-like meal experience with gourmet plus dishes that feature premium proteins and seasonal sides like broccolini, leeks, and asparagus. How does truffle butter, filet mignon, or garlic herb roasted barramundi sound? Mouth-watering, right? Stay on your A game with quality ingredients you can trust and quality you can taste in every one of your Factor's fresh, never frozen meals. Use your time more efficiently, so important during these dark months. Let Factor take shopping, prepping, cooking, and cleaning up off your daily list of things to do. Head to factormeals.com/50overwatch and use code 50overwatch to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code 50overwatch at factormeals.com/50overwatch to get 50%
Wait, is
off
it
your first
Overwatch
box
50 or 50
plus free
Overwatch?
shipping
Wait a
with your
second.
subscription. It says 50 Overwatch. 50
Oh, it says
Overwatch
50
to get
Overwatch,
50% off your
50
first 50
Okay.
Overwatch, 50 Overwatch, 50
50
Overwatch,
Overwatch.
50 Overwatch, 50 Overwatch. Use that on
Overwatch.
factormeals.com.
For any of our people that can't
50overwatch.
read very well, it's not 500 Verwatch.
It's
Okay.
It's
Thank
5
you.
Overwatch.
This
Is
is
it not
crazy.
5 Overwatch?
Oh my god, it's 50 Overwatch. Whew.
Overwatch, guys.
Johnny cooking stream when? Why would I cook when I can just use Factor meals to, put it in the microwave and
That's
treat
factor.
myself to a
That's
restaurant-like
factor.
experience? Here we go.
POV.
Well, excellent. That was
There
it.
you
You know
go.
what? I really like the
Brilliant.
smoothness of that transition into the ad read, Johnny. There was like
What I
no
really wanted-
prep.
What I really wanted is at the start of this episode, when I was talking about everyone giving gifts, Johnny's like, well, I have a gift for the audience. Let's talk about it. And then you just dive straight into this,
Everyone check under your seat.
I like what we achieved here. I like what we accomplished. There's some good meals. I'm so hungry. There's some good
Everyone
meals.
in the audience check under
Yo,
this.
the
Everyone
butter
check
chicken
under
goes
your
hard.
seats.
The
There's a
butter
warm
chicken
factor
goes
meal
hard.
just right there waiting for you.
Let's
Wait,
go.
Butter.
Cilantro lime cauliflower rice. Let's go.
you say?
I'm adding that to my
Cilantro
box.
You know, I actually took Curtis Russ of Plat Chat producing fame to Indian meal next to me recently, and he had some not butter chicken because he's a vegetarian / vegan, but he had some good meals. So not as good as Factors though, because I've heard their butter chicken is quite
That was good.
As I
That
heard,
was
it's one of
good.
their best.
I've had it. That's really nice.
The pork chop was amazing. Pork chop sometimes underrated. If you get a good pork chop, it's really good. And it was a really good pork chop. So, anyway,
Cup.
all right, okay, dude. Guys, there's been some rumors. There's been some chatter, and there's been some bad news on Twitter.
What is
we
it,
knew
Johnny?
there was going to be some partnered orgs going into next year.
Did Matt lose a parlay?
Matt has nothing to do with this, I think.
Okay, thank you.
And NRG Shock, Andy Miller himself announced that NRG Shock were not selected as a North American partner. So there were already some rumors flying around that NRG wasn't going to be one of the partner teams. We'll bring up some of the tweets from Varuna later on.
I'm
stuff like that.
personally blaming Avast.
Okay.
I know you did something.
That's
I know
a
he did
choice.
something.
But you can tell from this tweet that Andy Miller is obviously, pretty upset with it. And a lot of people are rightfully, because NRG Shock has been one of the most invested teams in the entire ecosystem since 2016, 2017. Like he says himself, the Seagull days, right? So it's pretty surprising. Combine that with Toronto Defiant, actually, also they announced, I can't remember if we talked about this last episode, that Toronto Defiant also won't be involved or weren't selected as a partner team. They're taking a year break or something
Did
like
they
that.
apply?
They said they're taking a year
I-
off, I'm pretty sure was
They
the
never
wording. So
confirmed or denied that they were applying for partnership program, but I think it's
Right.
like fairly obvious that they were definitely trying to get it. So
Yeah,
NRG
it feels like
definitely,
they would-
they were definitely trying, it seems like, NRG. So, pretty shocking. I mean, look, fan favorite organization for like Andrew says we don't know why NRG crushed. It's pretty mind-boggling. Now there are two sides to every story. We don't know why NRG weren't selected. We don't even know what the application thing looked like. We have no idea why NRG weren't one of the teams selected in the first place. But considering what they've done for the space and how they've always been supportive and some of the personalities they've highlighted throughout the years, it's pretty shocking, to be honest, to consider that they weren't selected as a partner team.
Yeah, it makes it. I'm curious at the requirements or like what they looked at to become a partner, because Shock not being involved and being so like Overwatch for such a long time, investing so much, and then obviously in the kind of untested era of OWCS, they still fielded a team. They went to OWC and everything out. They finished out the year. I'm curious, what are the requirements? Like, what do they want? Do they want? Like merchandising, that kind of stuff. They want reach. I assume reach being one of the big ones, and like all this other stuff. It does seem to me like they would be an easy tick in the book. Like, okay, this team, they're the fucking Shock. Like, they've been around for so long at this point, and they are a big brand in Overwatch.
We know who we got to hear from. Connor, you were on the team. You were literally on the team.
You
were on the team.
Yeah. I mean, well, first of all, I will say that Albert, who was the GM of the Shock, did confirm separately that there was no like salary requirements or like anything like that were like foisted upon them. There was a thread on the competitive Overwatch subreddit where Albert essentially says like, oh, like someone's speculating of like, oh, like they've downsized a lot, like maybe it's like a resource issue or like something like that. And then Albert himself is like, because that's someone that was very close to the process. I see if I can find the thread and link it.
Like an NRG resource issue? Is that what you mean? Sorry.
But as in like, when you're selecting partnership programs, because there's a difference between partner programs and franchise programs. Franchise just means those that have the money to buy in, regardless of anything else, typically get in. Oh, there it is. There are no minimum salary requirements, and our offers were competitive with what Space Station Gaming and Liquid were offering. It definitely had nothing to do with salaries, right? So. Right. You can already we're getting some clarifying information here of like, okay, so the offers were similar. There was no difference in salary. I'm also going to preclude this statement with something that I have a personal bias of me not liking NRG. I'm just going to say it. I don't like that. I don't like their management. I don't like the people that run that organization. I didn't have a fun time working for them. But they are a well-run team in certain respects, and they have a very long-standing reach as both in North American organization and specifically within Overwatch. There's a lot of guesses for why I think they couldn't. Some people have said like, well, like because some of the rumors, as I'm sure we'll discuss further, but like some of the rumors are like orgs are like, they float like stuff like C9 or Liquid, and like people like, oh, like these are technically older and more like legacy brands to a degree, and like they are larger, because if you really think about NRG as a current org, like they're really, really big in Valorant. They were big in Overwatch, and they've had they were big in like essentially Rocket League, and they've just been dwindling everywhere else, dropping. Like they don't really have like, and they had a league team they acquired from CLG, but they sold it off. So they have three main verticals, and one of them is Rocket League, which is like, so comparatively, when you compare some of the reaches of teams like Liquid or C9, like how many esports they touch, there's a lot of different things. I don't know how partner works. I am going to say that one of the more interesting things I think comparatively is I think that when you look at other potential rumors of like C9 and Liquid or like Space Station Gaming, even of like beyond like the actual size of the organization, is like, what do they bring to the table potentially that like an NRG wouldn't, when you build like a partnership program? And I think the most obvious answer to me is potentially like influencers. Like, what co-streamer talent is available to those orgs that you could theoretically expose new audiences to that NRG doesn't? Because if you really think about it, NRG doesn't have a lot of influencers attached to them anymore. They have like Sapnap, I believe, their co-ownership, and I don't think there's anyone else. There's very, very few people left that they're actually like large influencers under the brand, unless they're like players on their Valorant team for the most part. So is that a factor? I have no. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. I really don't know. They don't even know. I mean, that's the other weird part for me is they don't know.
I thought about that too, and I was just like, how much reach does NRG have compared to something like Liquid, because
Their
Guys,
numbers are
guys,
very
huge.
much like a
Their numbers are
legacy-
big. Their numbers are really big. Like pure
Toronto,
number-wise, they're big.
Toronto has eBay on Koi. Like, I mean, if that
Well,
was really
didn't they-
a defining factor, like,
Didn't they like separate? Am I
they?
misremembering? I thought
don't
there was like a
know.
split where eBay went like a different direction than like the ownership group or something. But also once again, like there's, I mean, eBay is like one thing. I don't know what's going on with Toronto. Like I said, I don't know what's happened. No, Toronto never came out and said we were denied partnership. Like they never said like they even applied. Like who knows what's going on in Toronto exactly?
Yeah, who knows?
But like NRG's pure numbers, as someone that was literally in charge of social media, compared to most orgs, is really big. They have really big numbers and followers, but they're not necessarily. I wouldn't necessarily describe them as like insanely global comparatively in their current state, and I also wouldn't necessarily say they have any large influencers compared outside of like Sapnap really. And Sapnap is also like as a co-owner comparatively is like very much decreased in size after taking like kick deals and stuff. So like I said, pure speculation. I have no idea. I wasn't part of it. So I don't know.
Okay, so first of all, the Toronto from Adam said they're taking a break from 2025, but they didn't specify. As to your point, they didn't specify whether they actually applied or not, whether they were denied or anything to that degree. So beyond that, though, I wanted to mention that I think it's important to maybe compare NRG a little bit to where the rumor. Nice, that's a good tweet. These nuts on main.
Is that a good tweet? Was that a good tweet?
It's fine.
Have we actually brought up the fact that there's been heavy hints towards or rumors to say that the three orgs that did get chosen were Cloud9, Team Liquid, and SSG?
We have not.
That's
It's just there's
that's-
rumors. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Cloud9, Team Liquid, SSG, and based on that, in my mind, Cloud9 and Team Liquid, I'm like, okay, I get it. Very large orgs. Team Liquid, giant org, have a lot of money. They're clearly willing and able to back these sort of ventures. Cloud9, they're basically on that level as well, and they've had history in the Overwatch League. I get it. But then if it's between SSG and NRG, I'm sort of at the point where, like, in my mind, NRG seems like the team that probably would have been.
I think it's like
my mind, but at the same time, it's like
the difference wouldn't even matter. Like at that point, I'd just be like, well, NRG's been around. You know, you get partnered because
But
you've always been here.
clearly there was a difference. So I'm trying to understand, like,
And also pure
what the
numbers
difference-
wise, like if you were to compare just Toronto versus NRG, even NRG's like pure social presence on just Shock. The Shock numbers fucking blow
Crazy.
Defiant
People
out of the
love
water.
the NRG Shock.
They
Yeah.
blow
they
Defiant.
love the
They're
brand,
actually
yeah.
they're a big brand. But once again, who knows if that's like a large like are they worried about other potential? Because like something to note is like is Shock like everyone knows Shock, but like what does like this is my speculation once again from a pure business standpoint. I have once again no insight. I really do not know. They don't even
business.
know. Like Albert doesn't even fucking know. He's the GM of the team. They have no fucking clue why were they denied. They literally said that we have no idea. So that I mean like everyone that is an Overwatch fan already or kind of knows Overwatch knows the Shock. But like what new fans are they bringing in? Like what new? Well, I think new do they bring to the table?
Is that the
currently?
factor? Is it?
I don't know.
Purely
I don't know.
based
Doesn't
on-
know. He said
I
he-
would
don't
even
know.
go the other side. I'd be like, how many fans won't tune in because NRG aren't around?
Sure,
Like,
but once
like,
again,
what's
is the upside
trade-off,
of
like Liquid
the
versus
upside of getting
NRG?
a potential larger brand that hasn't been.
Are there
attached
going
for
to be a
long time
ton
and
of
has-
Liquid fans to go like, oh, I guess I'll check out Overwatch now? Like, I guess that's,
But it might.
you know.
It may be. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason.
I don't know
Like I
either,
said.
but-
I mean, because like, let's say for example, Space Station Gaming, like that's an interesting one to me comparatively to C9 Liquid as a potential rumor. Space Station Gaming, I'm like, they're like they're a known org, but like, what do they bring to the table over an NRG or even like a Toronto Defiant theoretically in like history? And I can only think of literally one thing. I'm like, I don't know how the organization runs. They seem like great guys. Like, I don't know how they run. They have a little guy named Jinxie, one of the largest streamers in the
Oh,
entire
yeah.
platform of
Jinxie,
Twitch. That's
yeah.
a co-owner. And maybe they're like, you have to stream our games. And that's like fucking 60,000 extra stream viewers per Space Station Gaming stream. So like, that's a lot. That's a big deal for selling
Unless-
like numbers and partners.
unless
Like,
he
but I don't know.
streams-
I have no idea.
Unless he streams and his views go right down for Overwatch, it's like, why are you watching this? And he's
But
just like,
even
it's
even
actually-
if he were even if his viewers were go down, it's like his probably minimum floor is like 30,000 viewers, right? So like that's an extra 30.
I forgot about. I'll be honest. I did forget about Jinxie, and that actually is a pretty big factor. I did forget about that. But
Yeah. But also, I mean, there's other things here too of like, you know, as someone that's been in the inside, I think NRG is a relatively sustainable organization, which is important for a partner. They are someone that's probably not going to vanish compared to some other ones. Like, They're committed. They have a history. They have like a really good brand established. Like, I think that people bring this up a lot where they're like, oh, this shows no loyalty. Like, why would any org invest? And I'm like, well, guess what? Orgs continually are just getting fucked and then coming back to the same people all the time anyways, because they have no choice. There's no other option. Like, they did the same shit in Riot ecosystems. Like, I think people always tout this thing as like, no org want to invest. Well, guess what? Orgs aren't people. They're machines built to make money. So, like, it doesn't really fucking matter if you fuck them over, if you give them, like, a sniff of potential money in the future. They'll come running back, typically. So, I'm not saying that's necessarily how it should be, but guess what? It's business, not, like, everyone has funness. So,
nice.
It's like... So, I mean, that's... So, I just... my perspective is that the literal only thing I can think of is either NRG fucked it up so hard, somehow, which I find hard to believe, or... it's like an influencer reach thing. And that's it. Those are the only two options I can think of. I cannot think of another scenario of why anything else was chosen. And also remember, I think, isn't this like a really competitive partner program? There's only like 3 slots. Which is
that's
like
also
EMEA.
crazy. 3 sets is
that's like
ridiculous.
that is a ridiculously small. That's more competitive than like VCT season 1, essentially, in terms of like the slots.
Because obviously they want to do a smaller regular season, and they want some to be partnered, but they also want relegation and promotion for the non-partner teams.
Yeah.
So they're like, we don't want to run back the Overwatch League, so we want to keep it kind of open, but also we want partner teams to be part of our system and help grow the system.
I
so
kind
they
of get it.
they got the in between.
It's like, also, this doesn't mean to say that there will only be 3 in North America
forever. No. Yeah.
Because they could open it up next year to a little bit more, like, oh, okay, we're going to add an extra one or an extra 2 maybe next year, and just kind of keep on rolling that way. I think from the OWCS standpoint, yeah, they don't want to get burned and like, oh, all these orgs join, then half drop out, because they're like, I don't know, losing a bunch, and they're like, oh, fuck this shit, we're out. And like, it's best to keep it small and like efficient with how many partner orgs you have, and like know that they're going to fully invest, and then kind of go from there, and then build it up and build it out.
Just remember, there's a burden on Blizzard as well, where they have to, by that I mean Team 4, who have to like make the skins and be part of the process, and like the more teams there are, the more of a burden there is. And this is a bit of a... I was surprised. I don't know if you guys might agree with me, but when I talked to people in Stockholm, I was like, dude, I'm fully surprised that Team 4 even decided to dip a toe back into any of this. I thought they were fully done with esports in terms of their level of investment of trying to like
it's a different
do something for the esport. I mean, the same dev team that we still had for the last 2 years of ours. It is different to in a degree, but also
but
not
they
that
inherited that. You know what I mean?
My point is we entered this year in 2024, where it's just like fully hands off, which we're gonna throw it all to face it and whatever, and like no more franchises, none of that. It's gonna be a hands off third party thing now. And now it's like, oh, I'm going to dip a toe back in 2025 to give a bit more support to partnerships. And that was a pretty large...
I mean, yeah, sure, that I can agree with. I did not expect a partner program in the next year. Like, especially like team skins. I did not expect team skins at all. So
my point is, the reason there's only 9 teams globally and 3 per region makes sense, because it's like you don't want to overcommit too hard in your first year back in something like this, where like it seemed, at least from... I don't know this for a fact, it just speculatively, this is what it seems like from the outside, that Team 4 are still a little bit hesitant, but they're willing to at least dip a toe back in, but they don't want to just dive into the pool straight away, if that makes sense.
For sure.
Yeah. For EMEA, yeah, go on, OS.
I mean, I was just going to say, to add as a final note, like, I think when we talk about value, like adding value to teams like Blizzard side, it's also really, it's low effort to a degree, because like there's no minimum salary requirements. The majority of the circuit is still LAN, or online, I should say, and like you're literally just giving free value for a team to like field the roster that you might have a greater sense of return because you're in a partnership program. So like for most orgs, that's almost enough to just like guarantee you automatic involvement, because it's better than just like any open circuit system, unless you have like gambling money pretty much and stickers. So
yeah, I mean, Riot also dipping their toe in the gambling money. That was a separate from Overwatch.
Oh, really? Didn't see that. What was that?
Yeah, basically they were they will very selectively allow teams to have gambling sponsors, but they won't appear on stream. So you can't have it on your jersey if you're wearing it on stream, but you can separately promote it on like your Twitter feed or something. Very selectively. So Riot has to like agree on the betting partner or something as well.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be a CS situation, put it that way.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
absolutely
Yeah,
no way.
and it's esports. The money has to come from somewhere, and maybe some of the Valorant and League teams were like, "Hey, we need to make more money, and like you need to allow us in some degree to advertise betting companies." And Riot kind of like met them halfway and was like, "Okay, not on the stream, not on our broadcast, but maybe you can dabble with it on your own
I
terms."
think, well, just like a broader perspective on this, I think with how, I don't know if you guys have seen, I've watched a few videos on this actually about how gambling and like sports gambling, everything has increased over the last few years. You look at the amount of money spent going into the pandemic and like how much it's skyrocketed, it's fucking absurd. Like DraftKings, all these other fucking sponsoring everything. Kevin Hart, fucking every single advert is just Kevin Hart. Oh, DraftKings, fucking sportsbooks, whatever. It's just the amount of money that's coming into that ecosystem is absurd now. It's like quadrupled over the last like however many years. It's
Get ready,
insane.
Jaws.
So,
We'll
like,
be doing them soon here on Plat Chat.
Hey, if we do that to fund fucking Plat Chat, baby, hey, I'm like, look, you have to ethically do it, obviously, and I think Riot are probably doing this the right way. I don't know if OWCS are going to be able to do that at some point, but like, yeah, it was only a small thing, but it doesn't surprise me too much that they're kind of allowing this because of how much money is in that space now.
Dude, let's all hit our Zen and go gambling at a casino.
Oh
Let's
my
all
God.
get addicted to nicotine and gamble, guys. This is what it's all about.
It's crazy when you consider like where the money comes from in sports. It's like these insanely valuable broadcast rights, and then it's all the gambling money on top of that. Yeah. And then they're adding crypto on top of that, so they got like all of it. And like Saudi is trying to like buy a part of sharing like Formula One, which is the sport that I'm mostly tapped in. And like, dude, like we're over here. We had, what was our Butterfingers? We had Butterfingers for a while.
Butterfingers was sick, bro. Do you remember the little AR?
We had the
in-game
Twitch
activation?
deal for a little bit. We had the
Okay,
Twitch deal,
yeah.
which was that was the biggest
the
esport deal in history, to be fair.
Butterfingers logo on King's Road. Do you remember that? They roll out and then Butterfingers is on the side of the building. I was like,
No,
yeah!
the best Butterfingers moment is, I can't remember what match it was, but it was like a King's Row second push, and they were trying to cap, and Butterfingers ad popped up like 5 times during the fight and interrupted.
Everyone was
so
pogging because it was
Everybody
so,
was going
we got a sponsor.
crazy for that, to be fair. Yeah, there it is. It's on the side of the building.
So yeah,
That's so
overall,
sick.
I think it's a very interesting system. There's a lot of rumors circling about, about the NA system. Like, so I will say I'm surprised though, because I don't know, I just didn't expect some of those brands that were rumored potentially, but like also I know pretty much you have to remember that like with everything's a business. There is, like, when people are like, oh, they were burned, they would never come back. No, there is no such thing as being burned as a business. You could literally punch them in the fucking metaphorical face and shoot them like 20 times, and they'll be like, oh, money? I'll come on back. Like, it literally doesn't matter. Well, I'll be dead because I'm a person, not a company. So
He said metaphorically. You need to metaphorically do it, Jaws.
Yeah, you have to metaphorically do it.
that.
So I just think that, like, in
every night in my
general,
dreams.
people overestimate the power of that.
Oh my god!
To a degree.
I know this is an insane tangent, but Johnny didn't let us have our mandated 15 minutes of insane tangents at the beginning of the episode. Can I tell you about the dream I had the other day that I've remembered? Please,
we're like in the middle of the juicy part, Jack. We're in the middle of the juicy part of the episode.
It's about Johnny and you, bro. It's about Johnny. I'll keep it real quick. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You
I
get
just have to
1
get this off
minute.
my
You
chest.
get 1 minute.
I have to get this off my chest.
1 minute.
Okay.
Time it, Solomon.
Okay. So I had this dream, right? Johnny and Connor are in it. Johnny, for some reason, is on like this work PC or something. We're in studio or some shit like that. And he installs ransomware on the PC. And I'm like, Johnny, you fucking idiot. And I'm fucking cursing him out and shit. And then he's like, no, don't worry, bro. I'll just uninstall the ransomware. And then Connor, you were just like maniacally laughing like one of those really loud espresso machines in hotel rooms. Just like, I don't know. You were going crazy in the corner, bro. And I was just getting really pissed off at Johnny as I was trying to sort it out. And I was like, fuck you, Johnny, like, you fucking ruined everything, bro. You're gonna take down, and I'm like, it's gonna like get into the network, and all the network's gonna be fucked now. And then you were like, no, bro, you just right click on install it. I'm like, that's not how ransomware works. But anyway, that was my story. Okay, I saved 20 seconds. Sorry, there you go.
You know what? He did it under a minute.
That was my dream. That was my dream. And now we can move on. I'm sorry. It just reminded me. So here
In
we go.
a couple days time, when people check back on the VOD of this particular podcast episode, you're gonna go into the bit in the YouTube video where you can scroll forward and you can see the timeline. There's gonna be a
People are
bit where it
skipping
says
this
bit where it says most replayed, and it'll be just after Jules finishes telling his story.
So yeah, I mean, fun
Sorry,
dream.
Johnny.
Fun,
Sorry.
very fun dream. I mean, does anyone else have anything else? I mean, I feel like I've been doing the majority of the talking in the partnership here. Does anyone else have anything else to add?
No, I
to this
think
topic?
I was gonna get into some of the EMEA rumors as well, but I think that the as far as the NRG stuff goes, like I would have thought NRG would have made it over
Gen G.
SSG, and that's nothing against.
Gen
that's
G is
not-
a crazy one.
Hold on, let me just finish.
You gotta
up
let him
before
get there,
you-
man. You gotta let him get there.
Sorry. Go.
You gotta let him get
Versus
there, man.
talking about Gen G straight away. Like, hold on, let me get to Gen G. We'll get to Gen G. Give me a second there. Yeah, I was just thinking like, nothing against SSG. I think they did a great job, but I thought NRG would have got it. NA seemed to be the most competitive for whatever reason. NA was maybe not for whatever reason because there's obviously for a very Western-based game, despite the best players being in Korea, and a very Western-based audience, which has been all of Overwatch Esports history. There's a lot of NA orgs, a lot of serious competition for NA, only 3 slots, and people forget this as well. But SSG is actually a North American org, not a European org. People have somehow, especially if like your first view of SSG is in this game, like you only found out about SSG through Overwatch because you're an Overwatch fan. You think they're an EU org, they're actually a North American org. So it's obvious they would want to play North America instead of EU if they could, which is why they're doing that. But let's talk about EU now. Gen G, guys, Gen G.
Yeah,
So
what the hell?
since you already brought it up, I'll
Holy
Johnny.
slurp.
Why is that so loud?
Holy
That's insanity.
Oh my
That's so
God.
fucking loud.
It's like
Bro was-
cartoonish.
Bro was sipping the tea on Gen G here. So I've talked about this when I found out about this on stream. I was like, geez, this is pretty insane. But at the same time, part of me believes there's 2 major reasons why Gen G would be an EMEA over Asia/Korea. One of them is that Korea is somewhat competitive at the moment right now with, if you consider T1 is wanting to get in and very much likely to get in as the largest org in Asia. And then who else do they have? They have Crazy Raccoon, Zeta, and also Falcons, who I believe are trying to be in there as well. So there's already 4 teams. Gen G would make 5 teams with only 3 slots. Gen G is a pretty big org in that region, but Gen G at the same time has also tried really hard to make teams happen outside of Korea because they don't want to just be known, as far as from what I can tell, based on what they're trying to do with their brand and their org, they don't want to just be a Korean org. They're trying to have teams across the world. And so I'm pretty sure they've had teams in the games, like in Valorant and in like Apex Legends and stuff, where they were like North American, European. So this is not the first time that Gen G have pushed outside of Korea. But for whatever reason, when I looked at EMEA, it seemed like the region that had the least competition for orgs trying to scramble their way in. Like, we're not trying to name a bunch of orgs. Even when you looked at the rumors, like there were barely any rumors on EMEA. Even orgs like G2.
Where were Team Peps? Were they there? Were Team Peps there?
even orgs like G2 were rumored for NA, not EU. G2 was trying to do NA against all the other NA orgs.
I think it didn't
They
just say
didn't want to do
G2 were
EMEA.
interested in picking up roster. I don't know if it specified NA.
I'm pretty sure the rumor was G2 to NA. They were trying to do NA. And
Well,
it
I mean,
makes sense 'cause
G2 wants to be in a organization already.
Because
so
right,
they're
because they
literally
even in Valorant they're doing NA, so they're trying to move everything. They're trying to do NA. They don't want to just be EU. So
I think
possibly Gen
historically-
G. Last thing, possibly Gen G have moved to EMEA because it's easier to get into and they want to be a partner.
I think historically most orgs would rather be NA because advertising and sponsorship deals are mainly kind of NA based. The problem with like EU getting sponsorships is that because it's a very diverse region in terms of like countries, it's like, okay, you have to go with like generic kind of brands that are like sponsor your team, like a Red Bull, like an Intel, which is globally known. You can't go with more localized, whereas like America and NA, it's like, okay, spread across the whole country. Like you're gonna get sponsored by brands that aren't maybe not like as well known as NumVideo or like some shit like that. And I think that's historically been a problem in the EU. It's like you can't have a German
Giganti.
brand. Yeah, like exactly, Giganti, and like a German brand sponsoring, this team because it's not gonna hit every single country. It's gonna hit Germany and then maybe like Switzerland or something, German-speaking Switzerland, like it's only going to hit those regions, which is a much smaller pool compared to North America, where it's like, okay, a more localized, like fucking Pop Tarts or something. You know, you see what I mean? So I think that's probably why. And historically in esports, like you'd rather be in the NA ecosystem because of that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's
a great
that's what we
point,
talked about.
Jaws. It's a great point.
What is this?
What is wrong with John?
What?
a good
You've really been phoning it in the past 2 episodes, buddy. I need to see some shit coming over there. I mean, I'm gonna
He's giving
throw
me
up.
nothing. He's giving me nothing.
It's the off season. It's your podcast, man. I'm gonna say that there's another reason too for Gen.G in particular, which I linked an article in the chat, Solomon. Is that Gen.G's EMEA push, I think, is also part of a larger expansion for them in partnership with Saudi Arabia, which is, you know, typically in the EMEA region as well, with how we're classifying
Typically.
a lot of which is how we're classifying them. Like, so I would not be. I think
Shit! What a building.
Avril is probably
Nice.
right.
Wicked.
In that, like, it's probably easier to get into EMEA, but also I think Gen.G, when you look at them from like a organizational standpoint, are also just more invested in the EMEA because of their larger partnerships with Saudi Arabia and such. So, like, I think that's also a large part of it too, which, you know, the viewers can all decide what they think on that. I'm just telling you the news. And so overall, like, I think that's also a big portion of it with them too. And, you know, I'm also really interested to see because I haven't seen. One of the rumors was like, yeah, the third one was locked, but they like fucked it up, so they didn't get the partnership.
Wait, really?
Or
Wait,
something.
wait.
Third
Oh,
team
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
meet
yeah.
the deadline.
Yeah.
Was it Optic?
So, I don't know. And that's the funny part, right?
Optics?
That was like the rumor with Valorant, right? Was like Optic fucked up their partnership
Yeah.
so bad
No,
that they didn't get it. So
Stax, who is apparently a credible rumor.
I don't know. By the way, I don't know who the fuck these people are, but like I'm just saying.
You know,
But okay,
love
these are all rumors.
Stacks
Okay,
from the
okay,
same
okay.
side.
Disclaimer.
I don't know if we can throw around the term, you
These
know.
are all rumors. Big, humongous, giant disclaimer neon sign.
Unsubstantiated.
All
We know
rumors.
nothing. We know nothing about this.
But the rumor
fun,
mill
though.
spinner
Thanks,
Stacks did say, as a rumor, that the third org was like a new org. Now he just said new. New could mean a couple of things. New could mean new
Good
could
emojis,
mean
good emojis.
brand new to Overwatch ever, or brand new to esports, or new could mean new just to Overwatch. Has never been in Overwatch before, so new could
Right.
mean a couple of things there.
Yeah. So
Either
yeah,
way,
that's
it probably
very
is not
funny.
Optic. Probably,
So-
obviously, it does sound like Optic, but it wouldn't actually be Optic.
No, we're not
No,
saying it
no.
was Optic. I'm saying it
Oh,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
Optic with
Yeah, yeah, I
Valorant,
get
where
you, I
they
get you, I get
the
you.
rumor was they also fucked up their partnership there, so they didn't get it. So it's like
No, apparently
I
the
just find
Optic
that
thing
very
was
funny.
they sent in a one-page file for their like
the
RFP,
one-page,
and
yeah,
that was
the
just so it was
one-liner.
the joke.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
a
So,
one-page thing when everyone
Because
else sent in like 20
I saw the
novels.
decks for the VCT partnership. I saw decks for it, and they were serious. They were serious fucking decks. So like, if they sent in the one-page Google Doc,
And then Hex,
That
and then
is
Hex
crazy.
is just like, here's a one-page PDF. Enjoy. Half the page is just their
overall-
logo.
Bro, be
I
like,
love
we got
Avast
skunked.
as our man on the inside.
I've done a lot of
I've
work.
seen
You know,
the
people
VCT
always
decks.
people always forget that I've done some legitimate esport work every time. They always forget. But like overall, like they I think the EMEA one's very interesting because like who the fuck would, because I just in general, like I think per Jaws's point is like there are a lot of your large European organizations, but it's like Europeans love Farming Simulator and Counter-Strike. So it's like I don't know like
Dude, they love
how
Counter-Strike.
and Farming Simulator and
Yeah.
Farming
Yeah,
Simulator.
that's
And
true.
so I'm
That
like
is facts.
I always just find it interesting like which ones are on the table there potentially, because like who
Dude,
was
Koi?
involved with like EWC essentially, right? It's like there was like Fnatic, Virtus Pro, like
Yeah, Virtus Pro is an interesting one. I'm curious if they're gonna maybe.
who else?
Stacks literally responded to me. So if I'll link the tweet
live
right now. He
update.
responded.
Live update.
No, this is. I guess it is a live update, but he didn't respond to me right now. This was like last night. But there's also a conversation about Ents in that same thread as well, which is super interesting. I did not expect. So it's not Ents for those that are curious. Apparently, I didn't expect Ents to apply anyway because I don't think.
VP or something.
Ents seemed really hands off this year, if I'm completely honest. But if you go to the comments below, there's a conversation about Ents also. Is it supposed to be Ents? He says no, a new org. And then talking about Ents not coming back.
Yeah. I think
Ents
the
had
orgs that
had
were
a tough year. There was a
They
lot
had
of
a
moving parts
very
for
tough
Ents this
year.
past
God.
year.
They did have tough years. So I would assume like if you base it off of like essentially what happened in EWC, everyone should take note. The orgs that were there for EWC, they want to make money, and the orgs that are probably coming into the partnership program.
Partnership
were orgs
problem.
Partnership problem. The partnership problem. I mean, it's a semi problem for some people, and I think like they want to make money, and so at the end of the day, it's like I don't think it's an unsafe bet to say like Fanatics, Virtus Pros, etc. like come back because like it's clear they're willing to be involved if there's money to be had.
Team Vitality. I'm just reading names now.
Yeah.
Navi.
Yeah, all those
Kwangdong
potential-
Freaks. Okay, now
I don't know about that one, but
Yeah.
all the potential ones you would see there are like that. There's like it's the
Mouse
same thing with like
Sports?
the NA rumors, you know.
Mouse
Like,
Sports, bro.
Yeah, they call it
Imagine
Mouse
a
now. I think. I wonder if it's the same
Mouse
brand. I wonder if
fucking
Mouse is the
team.
same.
That would be
Guild
crazy.
Esports. Yeah.
Who came near the top? Team Vitality actually might be a good shout.
there's
Yeah.
a couple good options.
I mean,
Yeah.
Vitality has a huge fan base, no?
Alliance are very big in Apex, or they were.
And
But
so
honestly,
obviously-
there's essentially very few wrong answers
Oh,
in
they won,
EMEA
yeah.
because like Europe, like you guys are gonna
Won
take what you're
Apex.
gonna fucking get in that region. Like if
Hey,
anything,
hey now.
APAC is the one that I'm more scared of because like it's still 3 for APAC, right? 3 total.
Yeah.
So like,
Before,
isn't there
before
a
we do
very
APAC,
Okay.
just quickly want to mention Twisted Minds was the other rumored org to have gotten an EMEA. So it was meant
Yeah,
to
I
be
mean,
pretty
that
confirmed,
Genji,
though.
doesn't
Twisted
shock
Minds, and a third
anybody,
team,
right?
and the third team failed the timeline, whatever.
They didn't hit the
Interesting.
fucking deadline. Didn't send the email on time, bro.
Yeah, that would be if you were in charge of that. That's crazy. But like, I think that like APAC is the most interesting one to me because like there are orgs there that will get left out similarly
Yes.
to an A that are big because we have to.
I have a
What
theory.
is the rumored orgs for thingy?
There's-
Crazy
there's
Raccoons.
no- Okay, just to be clear,
Crazy
there's no,
Raccoon. Go
there
on.
are no rumored orgs for APAC at all because
Okay.
none of the rumor mill spinners have said anything about APAC. The only information we have about APAC is what like seems obvious, and what seems obvious is one, T1 have already announced. Have they? They appreciate
They announced trials.
Okay, well, either way, they have announced that they have Hindristan coming back into OWCS, and they're heavily hinted at as being a potential partner org. And if
And
they
there's been
wanted to go
rumors
for
of their
partner-
roster too. There's been
Yes,
rumors
correct.
Yeah.
There's been rumors. There's been rumors of roster moves to T1 as well. So I think that confirms that they want to come into OWCS probably as a partner team. And I think they're guaranteed to get it. I think of all the APAC teams and orgs, they are by far the largest one with the largest reach, with the most successful brand, and also a legacy brand for Overwatch Esports, given that they were Philly Fusion as well. So they seem like
Well,
the most obvious choice.
We learned today that doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it's not a downside. It's probably a minimum
Yeah.
an upside. My theory is that, as I mentioned earlier, the four orgs that are most likely gunning for it are the 4 orgs that are already there. I mean, there could be extra ones that I'm not even mentioning, but like the 4 orgs that seem the most likely are T1, Falcons, Zeta, and Crazy Raccoon. I don't know if there are bigger orgs in Japan that are like, oh, I really want to get in here as well. But like Zeta and Crazy Raccoon, if I'm not mistaken, are basically like the 2 big orgs in Japan anyway, right? So we're
Yeah,
not
pretty sure.
going too far beyond that. We can look at a list of LCK teams to see what other Korean teams exist that might want to think about it. But the spots are pretty limited. I'm pretty sure if you're Blizzard, you're going to want to get a Japanese org, at least one to get in there because Japan's growing and you want to support that.
I'd be shocked if Crazy Raccoon aren't, there.
I'm
they want
also
to.
Crazy Raccoon, one of the top teams in the world. Anyway, and my theory is that there is a possibility, this is purely speculative theory from my end, that they might say to Falcons, like, hey, there's an open spot in EMEA, by the way. I know you want to be an org in this partnership program. Falcons, do you want to just go to EMEA and we're going to pick the other 3 Asian
Well,
orgs?
they want the best team, right? And obviously,
Yeah, so they're gonna
you
pick
want
up-
Koreans. So
Yeah.
because they want
which
to
is-
win, they want to win the EWC, and so you want the best roster for EWC, so you get more club points and you can win.
More money.
I agree. Falcons would probably prefer to play in Korea and have the best team, but like, and that's assuming, that's assuming that everything goes as it is and T1 don't suddenly pay more and snipe people and whatever. But it is interesting though. I do think it's a fun theory to play with that. It would solve a lot of problems for Blizzard if Falcons simply went to EMEA. It would solve a lot of Blizzard's problems straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
so
curious of those conversations.
what are
honestly.
the T1 rumors? It's someone Merit, coached by Rush and
Rush
Fleta.
Fleta. Rush Fleta.
Fletter?
What's the
Russian
polar
Fleta.
barrel doing in Arlington, Texas, bro? What's
man.
he doing there?
former Shanghai Dragons coach. Come on.
I mean, that's 2 L winners right there. What are we talking
That's
about?
facts. That's facts.
I mean, I think what's interesting to think about T1, and this is, once again, I don't have any insight here. What's interesting about T1 is that you know who is building that roster is a little person named Swing Chip, formerly of the Florida Mayhem.
Really?
Yeah, Swing
Wow,
Chip
that's
is
on T1.
No, I mean she announced a long time ago. She's
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like,
you just
she
don't
did
care about
management.
people, and that's fine. And that's
So,
fine.
so
I
does
care
that
about
mean?
people.
So does that mean Gumba's coming back to Overwatch for T1?
Browsing, exploring. Sorry.
No.
Gumba coming back, guys?
Gumba.
Gumba coming back.
I don't
surely,
think
right?
Gumba's coming back. But like, yeah, see, Swing works with T1 with their Overwatch program. I don't know which other programs,
Oh,
but like,
shit.
obviously, there's a very obvious mother duck like connection here of like Florida Mayhem to T1.
She was at Dallas, Avril. She was with the T1 fighting game players or something.
Yeah, I think I. Did I bump into her? I'm pretty sure. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. See her
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
She was there with T1 wearing the T1 jacket, bruh.
Yeah,
That'd be
so-
fun, actually. I think that would be quite cool. Then maybe that is, someone there. I mean, hey, that would be a pretty good starting position for T1. That'd be quite insane. Actually.
Check. Incoming checkmate next. Incoming
Checkmate.
Chorong next. Just steal
Yeah,
Chorong from
yeah,
Blizzard.
yeah,
dude.
exactly. That's what I'm
And
saying.
he's
I
just
mean,
gonna
we'll
replace.
I mean, it's possible.
I'm excited.
He's
for
just
that,
gonna replace
actually.
RuPaul. Then you've made him again.
Yeah, no.
No, then
RuPaul.
they just bring in RuPaul anyways.
Oh, it's true. Yeah,
That
just
would be
bring
sick.
RuPaul in,
RuPaul
and then
anyways.
you've literally have made him again.
RuPaul on T1. We've done it, boys.
Oh my
Finally.
god.
Finally. So yeah, could be an interesting roster. So yeah, APAC, I think we touched about a lot of it, but like I'm worried. That's my biggest concern with APAC is that some org is going to get left out more than likely, and it's going to suck. Same way that it's going to suck for North America, though I would say that there's probably, I mean, there's like there's more obvious winners and losers in APAC compared to NA, I think, to a degree, because like T1, humongous, Crazy Raccoons, humongous, like Zeta Division, humongous. But then the problem is that like you're dealing with like money org, like with Falcons and such. So it's like, what do we do here? Like, I guess actually, to be fair, it's pretty much just as complicated as North America, because it's like you have a bunch of large orgs and you also have orgs that can bring you a lot of other outside factors too. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be, I mean, I think it's just going to be a tough first year because of the limited slots.
I wouldn't be surprised if whatever org gets left out is just not going to be an Overwatch next year, similar to what we saw from Toronto and NRG already, which I think some fans are like both surprised and upset by, either directed towards Blizzard or the org themselves. Like, why don't they just stay anyway? And it's just like, guys, it's very tough for an org who just got rejected to still just be like, well, we'll just do a team anyway and pay money, even though Blizzard rejected us. It's like, if you're the org, you just kind of give up all your power in that way. You kind of just give up all your negotiating that way. I think it's obvious why an org wouldn't want to come back if they're not going to be in the partnership. If they're not going to be the thing that they want to be in, then why are they going to invest?
They could still come back in the future. Like but like they're not going to be back for like that immediate year.
It doesn't mean the bridge is burned and they'll never come back. Like if partnerships ever increase, let's say in 2026 they add another team or another 2 teams per region, then yes, NRG, Toronto, and whoever gets left out could open that conversation again. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to say to yourself, like, because we're not a partner, there's no salary requirements, and so we can just pick up the 4th best team in the region and, get our brand in the Overwatch scene. If we have the 4th best North American team, maybe we have a couple of players that are like, bigger streamers or something, personalities.
Well, I mean, technically, since there's no salary requirement at all, you could theoretically just make the best team in the region if you wanted to, depending on like how the other partner teams do. But it just, unfortunately, you're just not going to reap as many benefits per se, right? So
because those teams, the partner teams, are making a calculation like, we'll pay higher salary if it means we get skin sales.
I don't think that's necessarily true at all.
No.
I think those are 2 separate calculations to be had there. In that, in many capacities.
Yeah, this is why we have you on the show. You're an incredible businessman and sense of humor.
On the topic of salaries, actually, there is a rumor about salary from the rumor mill being spun immediately live, as we say. It's not live, but this did come in from a few hours ago.
Go on.
Apparently, based on this tweet, a big positive for partnership, even non-partnerships teams, salaries have increased massively this year. And then Stacks goes on to say, there are a good number of players, partnership plus the Ultimates. The Ultimates is an org coming into EMEA who apparently is not one of the partnered orgs, who apparently have Kev Strong on the team.
Who the fuck is the Ultimates?
It's a Saudi team. The Ultimates is a Saudi team. But the partnership team plus a team called the Ultimates have players on owl level salaries.
Are they
That
talking about
sounds-
all minimum salaries?
Minimum
because they ain't
50K
on
a year.
fucking mono
But
salary.
even but
That's
even
in-
our
I mean,
minimum
that's so
salaries
crazy.
are
That's so
way more
crazy.
than what players were getting this year.
Yes,
Our minimum is still
yes.
more than what people are getting this year. So that's still
Yes.
a major improvement, if we're honest.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's-
no,
yeah,
it's
that's crazy.
that would be so good that like it kind of sorry Stacks. I kind of don't believe you. It sounds so good. Like if genuinely people are making our level salaries like that's kind of almost unbelievable.
Well, our minimum. What if it was like 50K per player?
Okay,
like
if you're
250
Toronto Defiant, I'm like, okay, they dropped the bag last year. But like if you talk about salaries in general ballooning, I'm like, wow.
Okay, well,
like I'm kind of
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a pretty good idea of what some of the players on Toronto were paid this year, and it was pretty comparable. to
yeah,
ours.
I'm saying Toronto and
Even
Falcons
this
are
year,
probably like isolated.
Well, you also
like,
you have to make. I
That's
think,
without
I'm like, how
partnership.
much did NRG players make last year? You know, how much?
I'm gonna
did
say not as
ENCE
making
players.
Defiant. Not as much Defiant.
Exactly. and
NRG
that's
plays
what I
this year, we mean, not last year.
And so I'm looking at teams like NRG ENCE. If you consider those kind of teams going into next year, you know, like those are the like kind of salaries I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I think if I'm being reasonable here, when you think about modern org economics, a minimum like $50,000 salary for a player, if you don't pay housing or like food costs or like essentially any of the costs that were mandated during a franchise league, is not insane. It's not like a ridiculous salary, but I will say that it's a big gamble on an esport that is still like, you know, it's essentially in its growing, like regrowth phase and like figuring out where it stands phase. And like, yes, you're getting a partnership, but like, obviously no one truly knows what exactly that's going to mean yet. And like, you know, there's like a lot of things to be figured out about that. Right. So, but I don't think for an org, if an org has a lot of resources, paying 50,000 for a player for a year with no housing cost, very small travel requirements, and, you know, very other minimal other requirements in terms of like food or like benefits, it's not a ridiculous ask. But it is a large number, like you said, Johnny, to invest in an org where no one really knows where it's going to be at. And like
if all the partner teams offer 50K to a player, I'm like, that's really good. Like that's.
I would also be
predicted
shocked if teams like, for example, like a notable team. I would be very shocked if a team like C9 was offering that. Simply because like C9 historically in their past like couple years of operation has been very much a super sustainable, very like we're trying to keep costs down organization. So like I mean it's obviously possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I don't know all the factors going to partnership at all, but like I would be pretty shocked if every team was paying, if the average teams were paying like Overwatch League minimum salaries. Now the fucking untouchables, the uncrustables, whatever the fuck org, like the ultimates, like, you know, they have the infinite money glitch, so like whatever, they probably do, like who gives a shit? It's someone's pet project. But like I think overall, like for orgs that are actually trying to be run like a business, like, and like I think there's like I would find that hard to believe as well. I would find that hard to believe, but it's possible.
The Ultimates GG on Twitter, founded in 2018. Practice, win, repeat.
Thanks.
That's a good motto, guys. Good motto.
There we go.
Live by that one.
There we
Live by
go.
that one.
So yeah, if that's true though, it's great for the players. I mean, like
They have some good numbers. Their
not bad.
tweets. Damn. Okay. I wasn't familiar with your game.
I wasn't familiar with
You guys were making fun of them, but apparently they're actually a bigger org than you thought.
Well, I mean, also
I've never heard of them before either. I've never heard of
also,
this
I
team,
mean, like social media numbers is essentially a very small part of the game, to be fair. So
Yeah, no, well, you know, today I learned something new. I learned about the Ultimates GG. I didn't know about them before. So you learn something new every day, I've asked.
yeah, I did not know about the Ultimates GG. That is fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to see what kind of games they play in, but
So
I'm not going to
apparently-
do the Ultimates deep dive right now.
Apparently, Kai lied about retiring. He apparently said he said yesterday on stream he was going to retire, but apparently that's a lie. He's been baiting people. So the roster is meant to
He
be
does
Kevster,
fake.
Kai, KSA, and Sky, and maybe someone in the chat.
We'll see. We'll see about the roster parts.
Yeah.
They're all moving pieces. I take that with a grain of salt, I think. We'll see. And I also take
I would take
Kai
literally
clips with a grain
everything
of salt.
in this episode as a grain of salt
Yeah.
for the most part.
We like
Especially
salt.
that Jaws story. I don't believe it at all.
Yeah, I would not believe
Shut the
that for
fuck
a
up.
second.
Believe that.
Agreed.
Do you guys want to talk about 66?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been playing.
I've been
And
playing.
I don't know. I don't know if we need to dive into patch notes. Specifically, there was one hero you wanted to talk about and some of the changes being made. But in general, they cut down some of the strength of the tanks, and then they introduced the arcade 6v6 2v2 card. I played some as well. Jaws, what was your experience like? How do you like it?
Solo altered a soldier as Venture on the sidelines, and they typed BMI check in the chat.
Which is a crazy good line.
Which is a crazy line. And yeah, then it started a civil war in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I mute the in-game chat most of the time. I've been recently having it not muted. There's something in the fucking water, bro.
What's a dog aim locker?
I mean, when you was on as a geek, that shit kills me. It's so good. Yeah, the 6v6 stuff, there's definitely a lot of players coming back for sure. And I'm assuming that's why I'm like, man, this guy must be a Valorant player. My guy playing Soldier and shit. But my first impressions of 6v6, honestly, I played a little bit on stream yesterday, and then I played a little bit today. It's not good. It's it's not fun. I think maybe I'm too Overwatch 2 pilled at this point. I played a little bit of support today, and I also played a little bit of DPS yesterday. I played a little bit of support and DPS today. Support is just a heal bot, and there's like very little room because of the amount of health bars that you have to like maintain because of 2 tanks. I'm like starting to get big old flashbacks to like Overwatch 1 again, where it's like, okay, so you're mainly just healing. You are the healer here. You are supposed to be healing both at large health pools on the tanks to keep them alive. And there's a lot less like kind of playmaking you can do on Ana. There's still playmaking, but there's less windows for you to kind of do that, which is funny because I remember discussing this when we went to 5v5, and that you are going to be able to make more plays as a support, and you're much more of a, not a DPS, but like you can definitely throw more shit in there. The maps are very crowded, but again, it's like a lot of these maps that we're playing in Overwatch 2 were designed for Overwatch 2, and all the changes that they've made are made for Overwatch 2.
Some of the maps are really small.
Like some of the maps felt very small. One small complaint, and I don't blame the devs on this at all, was there's no matchmaking or like no MMR matchmaking. It felt like for me, I was on Venture and I was against players that were definitely playing on controller or that were very bad at the game. And I'm like, okay, it's an experimental mode, makes sense. I just found that kind of funny. I was like, holy shit, these people are bad. My DPS isn't that good, you know, like diamond, mid diamond or whatever, but it's like, goddamn, these players are terrible. I don't like it that much. I think 5v5 is the correct way to go. I'm not too much of a fan. And there was a lot of kind of talk when we moved, and it's like, you're taking away the identity of like different kind of comps and shit like that. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of get it. There's Zarya, Ryan, bubbling Ryan, and like Zarya, Monkey, bubbling Monkey, you know, Diva, Monkey jumping in his dive. That's great. That fucking is pain for support. My God, you cannot play certain characters in the 6v6. But it also, what we got in return was more like dynamic tanks, and how like they don't just need to be, we need a main tank, a shield bot, and then we need this one that can go off on flanks and help with that kind of shit. I think it just enabled so much more creativity in with the tank role. And I really kind of realized that when we went to the 222 experiment, the 6v6. I'm not too much of a fan, to be honest. I like 5v5 the way it is at the moment. The changes that they did made a lot of sense in like tuning down the tanks. Otherwise, they'd become fucking raid bosses, like unbelievable, like Deathwing, Lich King, Arthas. I'm trying to help you, Johnny. I'm trying to help you to visualize here. They
you don't need to help me,
raid
thanks.
bosses. It didn't feel good. I'm not sure how everybody else felt. I would like to know what you guys think.
Yeah, I'll go. I kind of had the opposite experience, actually. No one flamed me. In fact, the only comments I got in chat were, I was playing Hazard, I had a Junker Queen in solo queue, and the Junker Queen teammate in the solo queue, and the Junker teammate's like, oh, we have matching skins, and they had the mob boss. That was the kind of comments I was getting.
This is so epic.
super wholesome experiences. Meanwhile, you're getting BMI checked and shit. So I don't understand what's going on. Maybe it's just like different time of day. Maybe it's the NA server. Maybe it's just a different MMR.
Yeah. Marvel Rivals broke the NA server base. That's what happened.
Yeah, I think it did. There were some frustrating games in there. I've played all 3 roles in there. DPS, first of all, feels like you're just shooting tank most of the time. The thing I like about 5.5 for DPS especially is that you can at least spend a lot more time taking better positions on the map where you're not just going to be instantly dove upon by an off tank or marked by an off tank. The main tank on the other team has a lot more work to do. You can also spend a lot more time just not shooting the tank and going after other players and making more plays around the map. I felt that was quite hard to do in 6v6 as a DPS. There are 2 tanks. You can't take as many off angles because you get marked too quickly. You're also just taking a bunch of damage. I don't know. I felt like... I do have a comment on the Season 9 health pool stuff as well, and I think some people are upset by that, but I think there's a clear reasoning for that, but I'm not going to get into that yet. Anyway, but even with 250 HP on a hero, I'm just noticing I get shredded way faster than 5v5 with an extra person on the other team shooting. I don't know, man. Like, I'm dying super quick. There are positions on a map that I can take where in a 5v5, I'm like, I can take a reasonable amount of damage here and get away with it. In 6v6, I'm like, yo, I'm on like 1 HP straight away. Like, what's happening? It's crazy. Spending way more time having to shoot tanks just because they're both there, taking space and in your face. And I don't have as much ability to just try and scoop around because A, you can't take the off angle as cleanly, and B, just extra tank body in your face means you end up spending more time shooting tanks. And I don't like that playing DPS. I don't want to just shoot tanks playing DPS. Support was really tough to play because there was so much healing. I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff I'm saying is just like, if you only remember playing 6v6, you're like, duh, this is just Overwatch. But if you've played Overwatch 2 for the last 2 years, this is now, you're not used to this anymore. Now you're used to 5v5, and this is a completely different experience. And support is like, that was loud. Support is like,
What the fuck?
how... Dude, there's so much to do. I'm like playing Ana. I'm like, I can't keep up with all the damage people are taking. I can't keep up. I'm having to spam Bionade friendly on my own team to keep them. I don't even have time to throw it on the enemy team anymore. Also, there's an extra tank there and too much shit to block it. And so I'm just like struggling to keep my team alive because there's so much crap happening on the screen.
They did change heal numbers. It's worth mentioning. They changed heal numbers, right? And then the passive too, the DPS passive. So it's like, obviously with the tanks, it like doesn't affect tanks, right? Or something like that.
It doesn't affect tanks anymore.
But like it still affects DPS, which is like still kind of big because you're having to heal them more to actually like top them up to full HP. You're obviously going to be taking more damage like you were mentioning too, because you're also in more scraps, more brawls, because there's with that 2 extra players on the server, it just means the fights are lasting a little bit longer, and you're just like, you're slowly as a support like losing this race. Like constantly.
I'm also noticing that I get healed less. If I'm on DPS, I'm getting healed less because the attention is going between the 2 tanks instead of 1 tank. And so I'm just there like, bro, I'm never getting healed. I have to go find more health bags. It's super annoying. And then lastly, playing tank. I've probably locked in tank more than the other roles because obviously if you got to play the 6v6 test, the most important test in my opinion has got to be tank. And it's the same story I've been telling for a while, which is to say that if you get the right tank combination and 6v6 is played quote-unquote correctly, it's an awesome experience. I think 6v6, when all the stars align and it's played well and people are working together picking correctly, is like quintessential Overwatch. I would even argue it feels better than 5v5 Overwatch. However, the caveat there is how many games are you going to get where people are going to play the correct heroes and actually work together and have the right compositions? Because if I'm on a team and my teammate is a hog, and yes, I'm going to bring up the hog thing, and yes, there were many games in my 6v6 games on my stream last night, the record is there, where the tank duo on either team had a hog, and the hog team almost always lost. If I'm on a tank, and I'm Malgan, we have a queen, or I'm Malgan and Zarya. By the way, there's a lot of Zaryas out there. Yeah. We're winning that shit, and the other team is hog plus something, they lose. They absolutely just lose. And I've lost in that way as well. Like I've played a game where the other team was Ryan Zarya, and we were not as optimized, and we just got crushed. And so the tank synergy is like super important. If you don't have 2 tanks picking optimally together, then it's GG. It's just that's the most important choice you make in the hero select, more important than any other choice.
I want to bring that. I want to like touch on that point because that is what I think people were using as a positive argument for like the 6v6 for a long time, was like that synergy is important and it's fun when it works, but like that always the caveat is that is never gonna fucking happen. Or like not never, sorry.
In solo queue. In solo queue, it's unlikely.
It's unlikely that within 5 games you're gonna have like a perfect tank combination every single game. Maybe a couple of them you do, you go Ryan's Eye, you go this, that on the other. But like having that one extra person in there, it does crank the variance up to a point where you're like, okay, like we're just going to lose, bro. Like, okay, we have a queen and we have a hog. Okay, we lose to 1 anti-nade. You know, like it's, I can definitely see like the light now, I think. And I'm hoping people feel the same way. Although to be fair with you, no motherfucker playing Overwatch right now. Like, if you look at a lot of the top stream, it's just Marvel Rivals because drops are on Marvel Rivals at the moment, so they're just farming the
Drops
viewership
are
and the
on
drops
Overwatch
and
2,
shit.
guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
I mean, it's. I found that quite funny.
on.
Like, obviously, you know, they're gonna go to where the drops are, more viewers, more subs, etc., more ads and shit like that. But
Avril,
obviously,
you made me think. Sorry, I'm just gonna interrupt
I
you,
like
Joss.
to do
you're
that.
fine.
I like to do that, by the way.
You made me think there. I was trying. If you're trying to have people stick with Overwatch, if you're trying to have people stick around and just keep playing the game, people being lured back into the game, to take a week off and they're like, "Damn, I really want to boot up Overwatch and I want Q ranked again." What's a better drug? A drug with high variance and incredibly high highs, and you're like, "Oh, this is peak. Oh, this is peak." But then you also get the really low lows where you're just like, you know, full mode depression, like in your, like just terrible. Or a more consistent, like smooth kind of like, "Oh, this is enjoyable. Oh, this is nice." Because I really do feel like that is the 6v6 versus 5v5 conversation. Like 5v5 is like, "Oh, this is nice. You know,
I
it's a
have an
good
answer for
experience."
you.
But then 6v6, when you get like the Ryan Soria and the main tank and off tank are clicking, the compositions are on point, the team play, like boom, that was the same experience I had. Like the peak 6v6, like I played it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, I had some great games. I like really enjoyed myself to the point where I was like, I didn't expect I'd enjoy 6v6 this much. And then obviously I had a couple of other games where I was like, wow, we're literally just clumping up. You can't flank as much. You get less value on flanks, and you know we're just balling around, like we're just bubbling. But the peak was so good. The peak was good, man.
The answer to your question,
It was addicting.
unfortunately, the answer to your question is the higher highs and low lows, because that's literally how gambling works, by the way.
Yeah, that is true.
Casinos exist purely on
Keep
that
gambling,
model.
you get a good teammate.
I just want.
Yeah.
And by the way, even worse, casinos work on that model where like your chance of winning is so low, but if you even win one time, you're like, "Oh my god, Pog!" But then you just go to losing for like
That was great.
99%.
Yeah.
But
Also,
but
I love being a tank and not having the full responsibility of like holding the front line and like protecting my team all the time. Like I could pick an off tank and just like, I'm gonna fuck around for a little bit, and my other tank, he can like, you know, do some other stuff too,
Yeah,
and we'll
you'll
like
fuck
complement each
around
other.
and ruin the
Yeah,
experience of
dude,
everybody else,
it just
bro.
took some of the edge off. Like it just took, like I was just hanging out. I was just hanging out playing Overwatch. I was just having a good old time. There wasn't this pressure of like, "Oh, I better hold the front line. Oh, my teammates are dying. Field off the flanks." Like it was just way more chill. It was pretty relaxed. So I enjoyed 6v6 from that regard. It was nice.
One thing they did fix that I think is a pretty positive for 6v6 is that on the Overwatch 2 game, there's a lot less overall CC and annoying shit for tanks to deal with. One of the
That was
biggest
going to be
problems
my
and
point.
complaints.
Yeah, now he's going to
you-
steal it.
you
Now
talk
I won't
about-
have any.
I'll let-
Now I
no,
won't have
you-
any contribution.
You talk. You do it.
you
go,
took
you
his
go.
point.
No, you go.
Oh, man.
Go
I mean,
on.
literally,
Boss.
my literally whole thing was like, yeah, I played some games, and I was like, oh shit, like, you know what's crazy? 6v6 is really good when there's a lot less CC and shields. So, which is essentially like the thing is, we're just playing a version of the game where they've essentially, and this is where people that push for 6v6 are right, and it's like to a degree of like, if they had just simply balanced the game, we'd be in a very different state.
I hate that argument, man. By the way,
Wait, but it's a bad. It's a bad argument, but it's also it's a bad argument, but not for the reasons they realize. And it's a bad argument because the only reason that we are in this direction is because it became, in my mind's eye, a lot easier for devs to refocus their priorities on like, oh, we're going for this style of gameplay and we have one less tank to balance around. So it becomes a lot easier to shift the game into a faster mode of play and to like remove shields and to remove CC because you have less variables to work with and you know exactly your design philosophy comparatively to like what the fuck was 6v6 at points. And so I think the reason it's a bad argument is because it's technically right, but they don't understand why it's right. And because it's right because they were only able to do this and make it feel better because they completely changed their design philosophy and removed the tank and removed all the CC and shields because we want to play a 5v5 experience. So it feels a lot better for me. When I played 6v6, I enjoyed it because there was way less shields, way less CC. I also enjoyed it because I feel like the DPS passive and the support passive to a degree are also kind of nice in a 6v6 environment because DPS help keep some of the ridiculous sustain in check a little bit more than it was in 6v6, and supports, you know, they feel, I mean, I think either way supports were probably going to be fine, but like, you know, they feel stronger just because you have that passive, that heal passive. So like overall, there's a lot of good quality of life changes, but those things occurred because of the ability to go to 5v5 in my mind's eye. And like they were able to make those choices because they had less things to worry about. And they're like, oh, this is what we need to focus on. Now, obviously you could just say big brain. They should have done it anyways. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. How about let's see it. Let's see your fucking game. Like, obviously, like it's really easy. Like
Nice.
it's really easy
Honestly,
to.
facts.
It's
Go
really
play your
easy
own
to
game.
say that. And like I do think there
Yeah.
are people that like that's not even a like when it says like just balance the game forehead is like there is a degree of rightness, but they're right for the wrong reasons and they don't understand it. And that's like I think the fundamental thing there. Now you could also make the argument that they've just done more updates and balances, like, but who knows? If they didn't remove that tank and didn't remove that variable, would we have ever reached this point? Ever? Would we still be in the same mire? Who knows? Like it's a completely alternate reality. I'm not Doctor Strange. I don't fucking know. But I do know that removing a tank and going 5v5 has to get us to the point where I play 6v6 now. All these changes that happened because of 5v5, essentially, I'm experiencing now. So it feels better to play.
Right.
To a degree. So that's to me, I think. And also, I think a lot of the traditional like a lot of traditional tanks feel stronger than the new tanks in the 6v6 setting, to me. Aside if you're playing, like, I think Hazard, like a lot of Hazard dive stuff.
Hazard's I fucking dominate.
really
I
good.
dominate
Yeah.
on Hazard.
Hazard dive stuff is really good. So I think that's pretty strong comparatively. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my take. Is like I think 6v6 feels better because of the changes that happened because of 5v5, which is frustrating for various reasons. But also at the end of the day, I look at it and I still see people and like, oh, I'm going to play fucking Roadhog because he's fat DPS in my 6v6 environment. And I'm like, well, like that sucks because the issues of the tank synergy, like we talked about, it's still there. It's like if one of your tanks is fucking doing nothing, then like it's like, well, I'm more doomed comparatively than I am in 5v5 to an extent, simply because at least like there's a chance my DPS players could just like hard and support can just hard carry the rest of the four in a 5v5 situation.
I had such a good time. I had such a good time playing 6v6. And some people have been asking for this. They're like, if you really wanted to try 6v6, you should do it in like a ranked card for it, a competitive card for it.
Right.
I'm at the point now. I'm like, why not? Why can't we have a 6v6 season? I don't care. I
mean, we might.
Let's,
They said they would keep. They said they would
season
keep
17 or whatever. Let's do it. 6v6.
They said they'd keep the game mode. They said they'd keep 6v6 if the experiment went well. So it's possible. I will say quickly that the main tank didn't feel. Main tank still had a lot of problems from Overwatch 1. If you actually notice this, if you go through maybe don't because you'll save yourself some brain rot, but like if you are willing to expose yourself to brain rot, if you go through the threads on Twitter or Reddit or whatever, you get the real comments from the people out there, the folks out there. Most of the people who are enjoying 6v6, there are definitely a lot of off-tank players, and I get it because if you're an off-tank player, main tanking for you is not the same, and it sucks, and it probably is not fun at all in 5v5. And off-tanking is fun in 6v6 in a way that you just can't really truly replicate in 5v5. I get it. Main tank players are, I think that it's still pretty 50-50. It's pretty mixed because you are still at the mercy of how well or how willing your off-tank is to help you play the game. If you're a Ryan and you don't have a Zarya or a D.Va or someone that's going to do something to help you, you're having a fucking rough game. You're having a rough time. Yes, it is still a better game because there's less CC. You're not getting a hack into a Mei left click freeze into a sleep into it, blah blah blah, and there's no stun flashbang from Cass, blah blah blah. But you are still like, bro, I need a Zarya teammate, I need a D.Va, even if you have that teammate, if they're not helping you, you're not getting a lot done. I played a game where I had a D.Va teammate. I can't remember if I was on Hazard or a Queen or something else. I'm like, dude, I don't think I've been matrixed one time this entire game. I'm getting zero help from this guy. This absolutely blows. I'm just getting blown the fuck up in every fight. I'm getting no help because tank HP pools have gone down. Your survivability is less. So if your tank teammate doesn't help you as a main tank, it's not a good experience. So I'm glad the off tankers are having a lot of fun, but main tank still has a lot of issues in 6v6 in that kind of regard as far as their gameplay goes, in my opinion.
So I think 5v5, like one less person in the server, easier to balance. Queue times are going to be better. Obviously, they're going to be pretty good in this experiment mode at the moment. I think I do worry if that's going to be used as like ammunition. Like, look, queue time, not bad. It's like, well, it's quick play, basically, and then it's also like brand new or like new. I don't know. It's
how long are they doing the test?
Yeah, I don't know, and I'm
Couple more
curious
weeks,
what
right?
they mean, how they define success with the game mode because. If they're going to keep this around, I'm curious if it's going to be an open queue situation. And personally, I would hope it becomes that. I hope 5v5 is still the main focus in terms of balance and everything, and they just have like an open queue thing where like the health pools are reduced, and then it's its own thing. I disagree with Johnny completely. Do not fucking do a whole season of this shit, because I think it will turn a lot of people off. And
what would Fortnite do?
What would Fortnite do?
What would Fortnite
would tell
do?
you to shut the fuck up.
No,
Johnny,
Fortnite would not hesitate, bro. They'd fucking make Overwatch Classic ranked, bro.
I
mean, to be fair, I don't even disagree. I don't even necessarily
they'd go like Game Awards. Like, here we are. We're doing 6v6.
No.
That's what they would do. They'd be, and everyone in Game Awards would be like, 6v6, Overwatch. They're going back to the roots.
I do not think that would happen.
That's great. Good for Overwatch,
if they
buddy.
did a season of it, but the regular 5v5 ranked season was also there, sure, why the fuck not? Go crazy, bro. Replace open queue. No one gives a shit about that queue. Like, sure. But if they replace the entire game...
You know those tweets that get like
Wait, are you
100K
advocating to have 6v6 ranked in place of the 5v5 ranked?
I don't know.
Is that what you're
I'm saying.
advocating?
That's what he said.
Oh, I thought you were just saying
not
like
a very
a
solidified
simultaneous like mode or something.
I'm kind of just poking Jaws with a rod right now or something. I'm just poking fun at him.
Johnny pokes Jack with his rod.
Yeah.
Whoa, but then
I'm just saying. You know, I was about to say, you
cater
know
to
those
the player base,
tweets?
sure thing, buddy.
They get 100K likes. And they're like, oh, Overwatch sucks.
Because they're impression farming, bro.
Yeah,
they are
impression farming.
fucking
Yo,
impression farming.
What if we cater to the
Half
to the
those
100K?
people don't give a shit.
What
Half
if we
of those
cater
people,
to them, bro?
Oh,
We're like,
I see
they were
Overwatch on
right.
timeline.
We're getting rid of Roll Kill.
downvote on Reddit. I downvote Reddit gold to 6v6. Reddit gold, you know? Bro, like...
I'm kidding,
half
obviously.
these
I'm kidding.
motherfuckers don't give a fuck about the game. We remain in Overwatch.
We remain. Germa, he's Germa posting. He's Germa posting. He's doing it. He's doing it. Yeah, I mean, I think as overall though that I mean, I'd be fine with simultaneous 6v6 queue. I think the biggest thing that we have to figure out is like determine like what's success because and like how long is it gonna last? Like what are people's impressions gonna be? Because like everyone. I think I've seen like some stuff like pure Reddit energy where people are like, guys, if you like 6v6, you need to play it. And it's like, duh! Like, if it's good, people will play it. So, like, if 6v6 is good and people like its iteration, they will continue to play. I understand people are like, well, this isn't exactly what I want. Well, if it's not exactly what you want ever, despite all the iterations, then maybe it's just not that good. Like, you know, I'm just going to say, like, if you keep on having to move the goalpost of, like, oh, it's got to be this iteration, it's got to be this iteration, it's got to be this, and you can't retain players, then the game mode's not going to stay. I'm perfectly okay with having a second ranked game mode of 6v6. I think that's fine. It's just ranked.
That's probably
like,
the best option.
Fuck it. Just have a second ranked. Like, what if it's that popular? Fuck it. Why not? What do I care?
Open queue, bro, and just
like literally, like what do I give a shit? I mean, who cares?
Well, the problem is
you
open
can do
queue
whatever
is
you want.
fairly popular, so
Yeah, and once again, if 6v6 ranked is less, if 6v6 is less popular than open queue, guess what? You don't get a ranked, because if you're not more popular than open queue, your ass ain't getting a ranked mode. Like you need to play 6v6. So like right now, the impetus for all the people that love 6v6, I understand it's not the perfect health pool, it's not the perfect meta for you. Guess what, bitch? You're gonna have to play it if you want it to stick around. So like, put your money where your mouth is, or it's cooked. So
they have hella stats. I mean, look, they did the quick play hacked with the not quick play hack. Sorry, they did the original like Overwatch Classic, right? And they did like the original heroes, and then holy shit, the Widowmaker in that mode was. I didn't realize how OP Widowmaker was back in the day. Holy mother of God! Like you can just farm on that character. Like tanks, bro. I don't know how tanks even live with themselves.
Now
Classic.
release Overwatch Classic. Obviously, I can understand the frustrations because that game was
yeah.
broken.
But what? No, my point is like they had the stats. Aaron Keller literally came out and was like, "Oh guys, here you go. Here's what we discovered about Classic," and then and it went downhill. Like obviously, right? I completely understand. So like in the next few weeks, when this mode eventually ends up going away because they're experimenting with all these different modes, they're going to do Goats mode at some point. They said they're going to go through each of the fucking phases, right, of Overwatch 1. They said Goats at one point, so maybe they'll replace that with the Ghost mode. They will come out with the fucking stats. I hope Aaron Keller tweets again, because he has honestly, in terms of like development, he's been ridiculously insightful, like over the last few years, I think, of how and same with Alec too. Alec and Morgan as well, the matchmaker. Like, they've been very transparent.
The matchmaker.
With, like,
Alex Morgan, the matchmaker.
Morgan, the matchmaker. Like, the matchmaker guy. Like, they've been very transparent with like all these different things that's happening within the game and like different stats and like with rank, for me at least, like Morgan especially is like, I'm very interested in that kind of data and like that kind of like discussion about matchmaking systems because it really interests me. And that Aaron Keller too has been putting out different stats of things. If that mode ends, I hope he ends up coming out with a tweet that says like, this is how it went, because
so the
I want to know their
Josh,
metrics
that
for
those
success.
people are gonna be like, you didn't give it a fair shot. You put it on the back burner or some arcade
No
card.
shit. No one is ever happy. Everybody is always sad. The economy's failing. The fucking animals are leaving.
Okay, he's clip farming. He's clip farming. He's clip farming, guys. He's starting to he's clip farming. He's just he's going off the rails.
But like, no one is ever going to be happy. Like Connor said, right? It's not my perfect iteration. I don't give a fuck if it's the perfect iteration or not. If you like the mode, you're going to play it. Simple as.
Also, this also being reasonable too. And Kevin, Avril, go right just like real quick. Yes, this isn't the perfect iteration, but they gave you a very reasonable iteration compared to Classic. It's like relatively balanced 66. It's in the game. They're giving you a chance to play it. You know, like, dude, you can't possibly expect anyone that's like, well, this isn't our game anymore, to suddenly be like, okay, now we're all playing, like, here, 6v6 is the second most popular. Like, it's just not going to work that way. Okay, Avril, go.
Yeah, I was going to say on that topic is I have a theory for why they didn't revert the Season 9 patches. Because everyone's like, oh, the Season 9 health pools and the hitboxes, they didn't revert it properly. It's like, okay, there's a real reason here in my mind why it's important they don't do that. And it's because if you think about the reason why they're doing this test, they want to actually test whether this mode is worth keeping around in the long term. And if they do keep it around, people underestimate how difficult it will be to balance for two separate game modes. 5v5, 6v6, they're different enough experiences. You actually have to approach balance differently. And the more you make the game experience different, the more difficult that balancing process is going to be. Imagine supporting both 5v5, 6v6, and now on top of that, you're now having to support two different versions of the health pools, not just for tanks, but for the entire roster, but then also the hitbox as well. It's like, dude, this is such an insane undertaking that I think it's just way too much work for the devs to do long term. If you actually want 6v6 to stay around long term because you're a 6v6 lover, you shouldn't want them to make it so complex. The job of keeping 6v6 alive, it's going to be more pain than it's worth.
I'm such a shit poster these days. I'm just like,
You
make
are.
it work. Make it work.
You are.
Like,
You
know,
are. You kind of
He
you
is
show
turned
up.
into
You,
Mr.
it doesn't have to be
Reddit.
perfectly balanced. Just
He is John
push
Reddit.
game dev there, and you know, let them cook. Push a game dev there. Just
Well, you know what the next complaint is. You know the
the
next complaint, but it's already happening. 6v6 players will say, you know, like, oh, but you know, even let's say we even keep the game mode around. It's like, oh, but this isn't balanced. Why are they balancing 5v5 more than 6v6? It will never. The complaints are just going to go on. So it's like,
Yes.
the only
No
true
one's
way
gonna be
you
happy.
appease this, the best way to do it is actually you keep the two games in terms of 5v5, 6v6 somewhat as similar as possible, just accounting for the differences in how much stronger tanks are, and you do minimal balance changes between the two separate games to have two separate experiences. What I'm saying is you don't want to have two wildly different experiences with two different sets of rostered HP pools across the entire board and all different hitboxes. Like, no, don't do that, because that would make your job so hard if you are on Team 4. You want your job to be as easy as possible if you actually want this to be long term.
And that doesn't even take into account creating new characters, new heroes into the game. Because when you're creating them, especially recently with like Overwatch 2, the tanks, it's like, okay, where are my permanent shield tanks? Okay, they don't really exist anymore, you know? Like Ryan Hart, like the big rectangle man, probably wouldn't be invented if Overwatch 2 existed since the very beginning. So like, it's another kind of added burden for them. If, like, in an ideal world, in my head, it would be like what we have now with OpenQ, where like, oh, the health pools are fucking different, and that's about it, baby. Fucking free for all in OpenQ. Like, again, don't know how popular the mode is. Johnny, you said it was very popular. I didn't know that. I will do some inquiring actually about that because I'm curious. And then you'd have like regular 5v5, which is the main priority for the team and for everybody within Team 4.
Because fundamentally, if 6v6 is the superior game mode, if you play with a roughly similar balance between it and the main game, like, obviously you could, there's arguments like, oh, it's not perfect, but like, then like the player numbers will reflect like people want to play 6v6.
Right.
But we all are not delusional here. And you know, I mean, who knows? Miracles can happen. Who fucking knows? Something crazy could like something like maybe we've truly entered a new era. Like, it's possible, but like, if 99.99% reality is that it's just gonna not be as popular as everyone, because most people are just rage baiting about Overwatch all the time, and like the people that complain about it don't play the fucking game, and they don't even with 66, and even the people that do, there's just not enough of them to justify the fact that the experience that's been made, it's made the game popular for you to play, is the 5v5 experience. And you know, you are a 30-year-old man. Overwatch released fucking like, what is it at this point, like
8 years.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, you need to move on. You need to you need to move on. Like, just because you don't like Overwatch as much as the current, that's fine. That's fine, by the way. You don't have to like it. No one has to like the game. You don't have to like the game. Yeah. So like, it's just like, it's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's like Marvel Rivals, man. They're all gonna be like no roll queue, and they're just gonna do. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen.
Dude, that shit kills me.
It's just
bro.
gonna happen.
Okay,
Kevin Avril's been farming the whole thing, but like,
Avril's been farming.
it's just there is no escaping it. You have not escaped. You have not reached Samsara. You're in Samsara, man. You're still there. You haven't escaped it yet, guys. The Marvel Rival's gonna get the roll queue. 6v6 is gonna come back. You're gonna be reborn as a cricket. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like you can't escape it because you don't realize you're in it. You're in the cycle, man. Yeah. You just don't understand. So,
You
just don't understand.
For me, it's sort of bury me. Yeah, we're so back, dude. We're so back.
we're
Also,
so
can
back.
I just say,
game. What a great
what
game
an
that was.
unbelievable game.
Oh, that
Cold
Call of Duty.
War and Modern Warfare 2, bro. They won't
Modern
know.
Warfare 2,
they
man.
won't know.
Oh
no
my
one will
God.
know.
He's boomer posting now. Now he's
He's
boomer
boomer
posting.
posting.
Modern
Now
Warfare
he just
2,
don't know.
one of the best games of all time.
Goated
Oh my
fucking game,
God.
bro. You remember the attack knife? That's because you fucking bring it out. And, you
And by the way,
did the
that's
lead.
insane nostalgia because it is also one of the most broken mechanics
It
in
is
any shooter
broken
title of all
game. It
time.
It was so
by the way.
good. It was
Lightweight
so
Marathon
good.
So
Commando
broken.
Pro.
So fucking
Danger
broken.
Close one-man army noob tubes. Like they don't
Dude,
know.
the fucking
They complain
Akimbo,
about Malga now.
1887
They do not
shotguns
know.
or whatever. Oh, that was great. Oh,
1887s, Model 1887s, which they
Oh,
never
yeah.
fixed. I think they fixed it at the end of the life cycle. Model 1887s, cross the map. Oh yeah, I just typed your ass because they have no spread. There is no spread on these guns. They shoot in a straight line.
ACR,
And this-
no recoil.
ACR, no recoil. UMP, silencer. You could run like.
What are we doing here?
Okay,
What's
okay, let's
good.
move on.
What are
Let's
we
move
doing
on.
here?
We're boomer posting. We're boomer
It
posting.
was so good.
Golden AK, Golden Dragunov from Modern Warfare.
This is why this is why
Tactical
all
nuke.
the small this is why 30 people on Reddit of the subreddit hate us, because they know Plat Chat doesn't care anymore.
I'm just
they
gonna-
control the broadcast and the narrative, okay?
I'm just gonna post this in the Discord again one more time.
It's a
Wait.
small minority of people, I think, that.
Yeah, what
want
is
the
it? Bring that up.
66.
Bring that up, Solomon. Bring that up. Bring that up. Whatever.
Jamie, pull it up. Jamie, pull it
Pull it
up.
up. Bring that one up.
Bring that one up.
Dude, is this one of my
my
viewers?
God.
What
It
is he
is one of
yapping
my
about?
viewers, bro.
Did Jaws
Oh
install
my-
ransomware?
VOD watcher
skip 2
skips to
minutes.
win.
2 minutes. It was at Peep. It was actually 40 seconds, motherfucker.
Well, that last rant was closer to like a minute.
That
and
was
a
a
half.
close to 2 minutes. Yeah.
So-
alright, fair enough.
That shotgun gif was amazing. I need that. I need that of you just reloading the shotgun akimbo. That was great. That was great.
Clip farming. Man gets
It's
married,
married,
instantly
it's
becomes a
like a boomer,
boomer.
so
I
true,
love when
that's
you
so
would
true.
prestige in Modern Warfare 2, and then you have to play with the noob tube M4.
You
it's
had
just
to
great.
play with that. With
Yeah,
you
when you
had
prestige,
to
you're
do
just like, I'm just
prestige.
gonna play
Oh,
with the noob tube. This is my 10 levels
Johnny,
of noob tube. Yeah,
I'm gonna propose something to you.
No.
Now that we've reached kind of the, do we have what
we're
do we
talking
have
about
left?
soup. Soup
Soup?
and aliens.
Okay, but
cup.
I'm gonna propose
Soup
this on
cup.
both sides to get to Avril as well, because it's his thing. You know, do you want to do? Is this the Marvel Rivals segment or the Soup Cup segment?
Can we talk about Marvel Rivals,
Marvel
please?
Rivals?
Can we please talk about Marvel Rivals?
No, we don't.
Wait,
have to
guys,
talk about it.
NRG Shock is back.
They're
I
back.
never played it.
Holy
They're
shit,
back.
NRG Shock is back.
They're back, guys.
Oh,
You can talk about
Nocturnal's
whatever.
on that
I'm
roster,
tuning
bro.
out.
And fun, and fun as well. What the fuck? It's like Apex and fucking Overwatch. Let's fucking go.
You're not allowed to tune out, man. You're the only one here with equity. You're literally not allowed to tune out. Like, you have to be the most involved.
I will
So
say
we
one
got to
comment
get
on
you
Marvel
in.
One here
Rivals.
with equity.
One
You wanna
comment
buy
about Rivals.
I'm selling
Marvel
equity.
Rivals
Just
player
email me.
base versus Deadlock player base right now. I feel so bad for the Deadlock lovers, bro. Holy mother of God. It is not looking good for Deadlock out there in terms of player numbers. I feel kind
Why?
of bad.
It's not even, the game's not even out.
Yeah, but I mean...
What are you talking about? You're just
mean-
doing Samito posting. You're Samito posting. You've done Gerbo posting. You've done Boomer posting, and now you're Samito posting. It's all
Is that
over the
Samito
place.
posting? I just feel bad. I just feel
we're
bad
dealing
'cause
with we're
people
dealing
are
with
like,
non-serious
Deadlock's
discourse.
Pog.
We're dealing with non-serious discourse. Avril, talk about Soup Cup.
So anyway, Marvel
Soup.
Rivals.
Okay.
Okay, what's the deal? Okay, you get 5 minutes of Marvel Rivals. What's the deal? Look, I saw all this. Whenever I open my X feed, it's just people complaining about Rivals. Oh, I hate Overwatch. Oh, it's terrible. And then I go like tune into Twitch, and it's just like fucking cartoons, and like it's just a third person of a hero like. It's just fucking animation spinning in particles, and like it's just crazy, and I'm just like, dude, what is happening? So I don't get it. The games are not being compared. One is a third-person game, the other one is a first-person shooter. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Because the word hero shooter, hero, Marvel Rivals, Spider-Man, naked Torb skin.
Johnny,
versus
have you
Marvel
seen?
Rivals.
Have you seen?
Have you seen competitor?
Have you seen
Squirrel
Squirrel
Girl? Overwatch competitor.
Have you seen Squirrel Girl, Johnny? That's all you need to know.
Have you seen Squirrel
That's all you
Girl
know.
model without clothes, Johnny?
Well, I wasn't gonna say that.
Okay,
I was just gonna
sorry.
say,
My
have
bad.
you? Why
My
he's
bad.
he's Gooner posting now too. He can't. He's just going from post to post of wildly different angles. It's not even serious. Bro is just becoming a
It's not X
character.
anymore, so he just needs to get it out on the podcast. It's crazy.
It's
I thought
insanity.
Connor was going to mention it. It's fucking.
I mean, I was gonna be.
absurd.
I just said Squirrel Girl. I didn't say, ooh, the Booba nude model. Like, what? It's just a whole different level.
I'm sorry.
Like, that's
okay,
the whole.
Okay. Fuck, man.
This guy, you need to. We're taking you a posting intervention where you're gonna learn to control your posts.
Have
We're
Overwatch
gonna
been
learn.
replaced in that category too?
No, it has. Listen, it's I was just joking. I'm just saying, like, it's another game doomed to be in the cycle of Samsara, like 6v6 Overwatch. They're gonna get a roll queue, and that's it. Avril has been farming the most of Marvel Rivals stakes out of everyone.
Yeah,
So
you
are we
know, I'm
going to
taking
say
advantage. I'm
anything
taking
substantial about Rivals?
No, Avril,
Anything?
go.
Did anyone have
Yep.
anything to say about Marvel Rivals?
Yeah, they're gonna get a roll queue.
The substantial thing I want to say about Marvel Rivals is, have you guys seen the new Superman trailer? Actually,
I
And,
have. I have seen the new Superman trailer. I have. James Gunn, new Superman trailer. It's with the guy. He's one
Don't
of the
show
dudes.
it because then we'll get demonetized.
We'll get
So-
DMCA. Do not show that.
Do not show it.
But anyway,
But yeah, I have seen it.
Look, Marvel Rivals is like, it's a fun game. It's a very like crazy version of Overwatch. At this point, I'm sure everyone that's played Overwatch has at least potentially tried Marvel Rivals. If you haven't tried it, you've probably seen gameplay footage. I'd be very surprised if there are Overwatch players who are like so uniquely dedicated to Overwatch, they've just eliminated all Marvel Rivals discourse out of their brain entirely. I'd be very impressed, and I want to know how you're doing it, because like I'm failing to be able to do so. I'm also enjoying farming Twitter on my rivals anyway. But I think both games are fine. But I'm hating the amount of tribalism in the game right now. This is not. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds about like, all of this kind of stuff. But it's just annoying. It's annoying that like. It just seems to me that there's a bunch of people in Marvel Rivals as a community that use it as a vehicle to just shit on Overwatch. And I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people doing that are former Overwatch players that are unbelievably disgruntled with Overwatch and Blizzard. Notably, it is Blizzard, because when I see people commenting back, and I do have to mute these threads because even though they like pop off and like, one's like 500,000 views and like hundreds of comments, like I just can't, I'm not going to read every comment. I don't want to read every single comment, to be honest with you. I want to save my brain cells. But the people that are the most disgruntled and they hate the Overwatch the most, they just seriously dislike Blizzard, and they might be justified in doing so. But man, a lot of them just like don't realize that Overwatch 2 has kind of turned around quite a decent amount. That the new Overwatch dev team is much better than the original Overwatch dev team. That they've even walked back a lot of the monetization stuff that people didn't really like. That the fact that heroes are free. More currency is earnable,
So
all
many
this kind of
people
stuff.
get caught up on the monetization stuff. I see it all the time where they're like,
They're
oh yeah,
also
actually
just-
you get all this premium currency for free, by the way, you know that? And they're like, oh, I didn't know. Because I haven't played the game in 4.5 years, so like I'm just complaining. So
But then they move the goalposts as well, but then it's like, first of all, they have a problem with the Overwatch monetization. They don't have a problem with the Marvel's monetization. It's like, dude, it's like the same monetization, and when you press them on it, they move the goalposts. Like, no, but then you earn this, and you get slightly more currency. It's like, bro, are we gonna get to the semantics of like you earn one extra coin in Marvel Rivals? Whoop-de-fucking-do. Like that's what you're gonna get caught up on. Like, come on, let's be for real right now. You have to buy skins, you have to go through a battle pass, you have to do the same MTX bullshit you don't like in Overwatch, but apparently it's fine in Marvel Rivals. Like, these people don't have real arguments. They just overlook stuff in Marvel that should have been a problem for them, because they apparently was a problem for them Overwatch. They're just not being completely honest people. And I don't know, I would just like a little bit more honesty if people could just, you're allowed to dislike Overwatch, you're allowed to dislike Blizzard, but like the Schadenfreude is getting unbelievably cringe at this stage, and I'm just kind of over it.
The tribalism point is actually quite interesting. I did see this was a while ago, but Nate Shot put out a tweet like
I remember that, yeah.
a clip of him basically talking about like the games industry, or like the games industry, but also like the gaming audience at the moment. And I think he hit the nail on the head. It's like, it feels like every gamer want games to fail, like straight up. Like they don't give a fuck. They have their own little camp maybe where they like this game or whatever, but they want everything else to just fail. And I feel like Overwatch is obviously has been that for a long time, where people just use other games as they did with Deadlock, right? They used Deadlock as a vehicle to shit on Overwatch while not playing Overwatch and not experiencing this other shit. And I feel like that is encapsulated perfectly in the Marvel Rivals thing as well. Just like, bro, it's you can just like this thing. You don't have to like this thing. That's fine. But like, stop using every other game as a fucking vehicle to hate X, Y, or fucking Z. Everybody wants every game to fail for some fucking reason. And then Balatro doesn't win Game of the Year. What the fuck's that about?
And it's
like,
18
dude,
plus
that's
now.
crazy.
It's my favorite adult game, Balatro.
That's
my favorite
That's
adult
actually
game.
the
Balatro.
Peggy
Yeah.
rated as an 18 plus because it has
It's
cards
not
in
gambling.
it.
It's just not gambling straight up.
Dude,
It's
we actually have to do the
crazy.
Balatro segment because that
We
is the
have to do
craziest
the
shit I've
Balatro
ever heard
segment.
in my
Yeah, it's fucked.
We probably shouldn't. We probably should end the episode, to be fair, or talk about Soup Cup. So, but
Soup
like
Cup.
that's
Soup Cup.
that shit
Yeah.
is fucking insanity.
It's crazy
Literal
because
insanity.
the obviously the imagery within Balatro is like poker hand, and they use chips as like the scoring mechanism. But like 18 plus is fucked. Like it actually
Yeah.
is just Peggy not even playing the game. Like straight
No,
up.
I think I think I saw someone post a screenshot of the response. It's like, yeah, because it uses simulated poker hands, it can teach you how to play the game, and thus that's why it's 18 plus.
Oh, that
and
is
it's literally,
such a
and I'm like,
stretch.
while EA Gamble Box FIFA 2025 is like 3
Wait.
plus.
Wait. Let me load up Poker Nights at the Poker Nights at the
Where are we going right now?
inventory.
I don't know where
This
we're
is a
going,
very-
but
Where
this
we
shit is
going
crazy.
right
This
This
is a
is
very-
actually crazy. This is bizarre.
Poker Night
this
is
whole
the
thing.
inventory. Is this Peggy 18?
The Balatro situation is crazy.
I
The
don't know.
Balatro situation is legitimately insane.
There
It's
are
the fucking craziest shit I've ever seen.
unbelievable amount of other games that are like poker related and like do that shit, but they fucking like how is the Balatro 18 plus?
Dude, look at
Four
that.
Kings
Dude,
Casino
it's
and
12.
Slots. Four
How
Kings
is that
Casino
even,
and Slots.
how is
How
that
is it
even
12?
possible?
How is it
Dude,
12?
loot boxes, actual loot boxes are rated
Yeah.
like lower Peggy than fucking
It is insane.
Balatro.
Balatro 18 FIFA is 3 plus, bro.
What? FIFA. There are Brazilian children that have put their whole family
Prominent
into
gambling
debtor's
imagery.
prison buying Cristiano Ronaldo like 20 fucking thousand times. Like we
Gambling-
need to. I mean, this is just
so
insanity.
fucked up.
This is
Gambling
insanity.
imagery too. It's not like the act of gambling at all. It's just the imagery of it, because it uses poker chips and fucking cards and poker hands. I don't know. That's crazy.
We need to make the people that run Peggy, we need to have them become Overwatch fans and then introduce them to Marvel Rivals fans, and then that will destroy that company from the inside out. We could do it there.
That's
That's what we
fact.
do.
Oh, actually, there is one important point about Marvel Rivals that needs to be brought up. Their ranked mode from Diamond Plus, which is actually pretty high ranked in Marvels right now, has hero bands in ranked itself. which
I
is
do know that
super
because
fucking
SK
insane.
really?
has been constantly complaining because everyone just bans the
'Cause-
streamers'
oh,
heroes. that they
Psylocke?
want.
Because everyone, okay, first of all,
That's
they
unlucky.
probably do need a streamer mode in that game. But beyond that, the greater overall point is everyone in Overwatch is like, oh, when you bring up the hero band discussion, everyone's always like, that's great, but I don't want it in rank. First of all, no one even brought up rank. We're talking about OWCS here. But secondly, it's like, okay, you don't like it in ranked. And then it's funny that Marvel's like, no, we are going to put it in ranked. They just put it in ranked. And apparently their players do really like that. So, yeah, it works, I guess. Why not?
Well,
Why the fuck not?
we don't have
It
Jeff to
sucks.
show.
Okay, it sucks if you're like either a one trick or you're a well-known streamer and everyone knows what you play. Then it sucks. I agree. But for the average solo queue player who's a complete random person, I'm sure it's not that bad. I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
All right,
Shooting mode
well,
is just very important in general.
I got
That's
nothing
all good.
else on this
Yeah.
topic. What should we do now?
What do we do, Johnny? What do we?
Johnny,
Plat
what
Chat
should we do?
Balatro episode 249. Dude, Plat Chat Balatro.
I'm
Johnny?
co-streaming Soup Cup last 3 days. Tonight, tomorrow, and the day afterwards. Right now, it's currently full Hazard meta. We are officially out of the Amalgam meta. I theorize this is because of Sojin and how strong Sojin was. Even after the Sojin nerf, still strong. Hazard's still strong. I don't think Hazard is overpowered. Hazard's super fun to watch. Jim and Bernard kind of look like the best Hazard players if you're looking for a POV. Sojin has POVs. She might have a Jim POV. He only played yesterday, but she definitely has Bernard POVs. Very good to watch if you want to see pro level Hazard. Sojin Genji is the DPS line. We've moved through a couple different support lines. We've gone through Brig Juno. We've gone through Lucio Kiriko. We're now landed for some reason on Lucio Juno. That has now become the meta support composition.
Makes sense. I mean, there's no Juno nerfs, right? So makes sense.
No, so yeah, so that's where we're currently at, and we're in the playoffs, double elimination bracket part of it now. Oh, fun fact: Falcons did lose last night to Zeta in a close 5-map series, so that one could be a fun watcher, especially if you're a Falcons hate watcher. And Crazy Raccoon looked pretty good, but they didn't have to play against Zeta, so who knows what's going to happen. And yeah, come and watch.
What
on
are your
my
thoughts
stream.
on Hazard so far when watching
Love
this
it.
tournament?
Not even just watching, playing. Hazard might be my favorite hero right now, next to Sojin.
shit.
Might even be my favorite, even beyond Sojin. He's just so unbelievably fucking cool to play and to watch as well. His mechanics are so clean. The implementation of the wall at any level, like whether you're just in solo queue or at this pro level, is just like, it's so well implemented. I thought the wall was going to be super cringe. Like, why did you give a tank a Mei wall? But then I realized what it does and what you can do with it. It was like, wow, you can be super creative. You can do so many cool things with the wall. Yeah, his gameplay is great, and maybe some people will say that his like block is too strong. I don't think it's that strong.
I don't think it's that strong at all. Playing against it, the damage especially is very hard to actually get off. You know, we were overreacting on purpose.
Yeah,
overreacting, but like it was, which was kind of funny. But because I thought 70, I even thought like, even 70 DPS is quite high. Like, bro, I rarely see how
people out heal that. People out heal that so quick. Also,
Easy.
I thought the ultimate was going to be like super annoying and bullshit and just not fun, but actually it's super easy to dodge. If you watch any of these games, you will notice that barely anyone ever gets caught by the ultimate because it's so easy just to step to the side, save your shift ability and just get out. And in these comps, literally when you look at the 5 heroes, everyone has a mobility to get out of the Hazard ultimate downpour. So it's not.
I kind of thought Lucio would have. I thought Kiriko would be perma played, to be honest, because of Suzu for the ult. But like after playing against the ult,
it's way too hard to time.
Right, and also playing against the ult as well, like it's not tough. Like obviously it requires a little bit of ult tracking, right? I've been playing a lot of Sojin. By the way, fuck support players, fuck supports right now. I hate playing support. I'm a DPS player now, for fucking through and through. It's so much more fun. But you just save shift on Soj, or like you save another mobility corner. Even like Soldier, honestly, like I've just been like sprinting out of it. It's not that tough. But where Hazard's like skill gap comes in, I think, is getting really creative with ults, like knowing the exact range in which you can get it off, and like pinning people
using
into
it with wall.
Yeah, using it with the wall, or like pinning people into a into like the environment. Like you put it straight this way, so they have to dodge right, and then you kind of fuck them up that way. It's a Hazard is fucking awesome as a tank. Like super dynamic. The jump's really cool. He's with a Lucio, man, that shit is fucking scary, bro. Like, he runs you down. He does a lot of damage. If you get comboed, he does a lot. And you do get fucked up if you play against a good Hazard, plus your position's kind of bad. It's funny. I think the hero is very well designed.
I think Venture is what a healthy DPS Doom looks like, and I think Hazard is what a healthy tank Doom looks like. It's really sad for Doom, but that's the reality in my opinion. So Hazard's been super fun. I love Hazard so far.
Yeah, it's cool as fuck.
Agreed.
Are you still streaming Soup Cup?
Yeah, I'm streaming. There's 3 more days left, including later
the best
today.
matches left.
So the best matches. So come check.
How was the
check me
Zeta
out.
Falcons match? Was it good?
It was good, but I for some reason it does look like Falcons and Crazy Raccoon are maybe not taking this tournament super seriously. That's just, I don't know. I may be speculating, but it just doesn't seem.
Yeah, I mean it's an off-season event. I guess I'm just asking. Like, do you think it's like were they like Pog? Like, were they Pog matches? Well, what were your favorite matches so far?
I mean, it's a 5-map. It was a 5-map. It was a hyper competitive game.
Good 5-mapper? Were you Pogging?
For the most part, but I don't think Falcons were going at 100%, but I do think it was a quality series, yes. I think Falcons looked like they were going at 85 or 90%. Stalker had a pretty rough series. Stalker was getting outplayed by Flora on the Soj, which is very unfortunate. Proper was farming as he always does.
These mirrors look so fun, bro.
And Burner looked like he was just better on Hazard than either Smurf or Harbin at the moment. So, yeah, Burner looking like potentially the best Hazard, unless Jumbin is. But the Jumbin's only played a few maps and not versus a good enough team. He played against.
I think
Max
it would
team
be crazy that
enough.
Bernard continues to like a new hero comes out and he like. Because he's been such, when you really think about his career is insanely long of like him as a tank. And
2019, right? I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he essentially broke out into like fame. No, it was earlier than that. And the reason because I think Didn't he start playing
Fusion
in North
University was
America?
Why do I say-
2018.
Didn't
late
he? But didn't he?
2018.
No,
Yeah,
it was
2018,
Apex.
right?
He was on BK Stars.
He was
Yeah.
on BK Stars as well.
He was
yeah,
on,
he was on
BK
as
Stars
well,
with
yeah.
Alarm, and
And then they went over to Fusion Uni, and like, but
He
like,
was a
I'm
tank
just saying, just in general, like,
then as
a
well.
lot
yeah.
of times we often forget how good Bernard is, and it'd be crazy if like Hazard is like once again like, oh shit, it's Bernard time again, and this guy is like been
He
such
already
a, like,
was-
consistently good player.
He already was, in my opinion, like the most impressive Arista that I saw this year in the Arista meta. Even better than like Jumbin and Harmbins out there. I thought Bernard was seriously like
Wow.
best player on very specific tanks we saw this year. So he's actually top of the line currently. I think Bernard's. But if you don't follow like Korean, you only get to see Korean teams at like Dallas and Stockholm, EWC. Or you would have seen Bernard there. But my point is, if you don't get to see enough Bernard, a lot of people probably underrate him. So there is that. We are gonna see Falcons tonight. They play against Pokerface, which has got Proud on it. Proud's an absolute fucking monster on hit scan. And then Max Team Hedgehog Down plays against Wei. Wei has Who Are You on it, and we are in a Genji meta. So if you want to see Who Are You, if you want to see Who Are You in Genji, Soup Cup is where it's at.
Wow.
It's funny because Bernard's career has been a bit. It's been a bit weird in a way because he was on Spark for a while, and that team is just not good.
Yeah, he was like literally on the Spark roster and he just didn't
Very
play for like a
sad.
full year,
Yeah.
right?
But
for
yeah, his,
OWCS,
No,
Will's
am I
been
thinking of
back.
someone else?
no,
You might be
he was on that
thinking-
team with Godsby, bro. I think.
Yeah, it was.
There was an off-tank player. Was it Bernard?
Yeah.
Maybe Bernard was the one who filled in. I can't remember.
I cannot
Or did-
remember.
was
Bernard
on
went
his
from
bench.
Let me
from
check.
London to I think he might have spent 1 year at Contenders. He went London and then I believe Contenders, then Spark.
Ligue.
Oh no, he went straight to
Yeah.
Spark. Never mind.
But he didn't
Bernard,
play on
he
Spark, right? He took like he was just perma-benched or like wasn't present or
No,
something.
I'm pretty sure he did play because I
He
remember
did
Gooshway got benched a bunch of
play.
times. But Gooshway he did play because Gooshway also got benched a bunch of times. They
Yeah.
shared that role, and there were certain metas where Gooshway didn't play at all.
I felt like he disappeared for a while. What am I thinking of?
He was in and out. Like
I
throughout the Overwatch League, he was in
casted
and out.
Spark. He definitely played. I casted Spark.
Yeah. And then he was on the 2020
2021?
London Spitfire team, which was like fucking Shui, Bernard. That was what's
Krillin.
his face? Glister. Krillin. Krillin with the mullet. Yeah. Jihoon. Yeah. That highly. Yes, dude. The insane roster of London Spitfire in 2020. Just fucking fever dream where Glister was trying to hard fucking carry. And Bernard, how much did he play in 2020? I feel like it wasn't a lot, but it could be trolling.
Bro, this is 5
Got a
years
big-
ago now.
I know.
don't
Got a
big
remember
roster,
that
man.
well.
I know.
I can't
I just
remember.
Bernard. What I'm saying, my main point is Bernard. Has just been underrated for so fucking long, bro. Like so long. He's fucking sick. He's sick. He's finally in the limelight now. In Soup Cup.
Fun fact about Bernard was when I went to Korea, the 2 trips I did this year, he had, among all the players that I saw, probably the most fans line up to get his autograph.
Cool.
And that's on every single team. This is only anecdotal. I didn't sit there counting the number of fans,
Yeah.
but just like visually how long the line was. I remember Bernard consistently having the longest line of fans.
It helps if you're an old head too, and he kind of is an old head, like playing on BK Stars and stuff back in Apex.
Oh,
Well, there we go.
I
Yes,
didn't know
there's
that.
Well, I love Bernard. Let's go.
Yeah, no, Bernard is sick.
Anyway,
Bernard is sick.
drones and Dujet. No. Anyway, yeah.
I found this Reddit thread, guys.
Okay,
Okay,
Tony,
what about
the
what have you been
drones?
doing for the past 30 minutes of being silent? Let's see it. Let's take a look.
Chat alien.
First question is, do you guys think Lord of the Rings is a Christmas movie?
No,
I think
but
so.
it is good.
It is.
You
think
so.
it is? You think it is?
shit.
Well,
I think it's
I
a
feel
film,
like
bro.
it's, I put on the Lord of the Rings trilogy like around Christmas. I feel like that's
But
when
no
it's
one
time
was
for
why-
everyone.
but
Are
what's
you talking
your
about when we
reasoning?
were around the house the other day?
Yeah, I literally just put it on.
No
yeah,
one was
for
complaining.
the
No,
night,
what's the why would you think it is a Christmas? I think it's a great movie.
I
to
just feel like
watch
it's like
anytime,
the
so.
days between Christmas and New Year, it's like the perfect time to like boot up Lord of the Rings and like rewatch Lord of the Rings.
Sure.
It's
I
like
mean,
the-
it's
the
typically
28th,
because you're not
29th
doing
December,
anything,
like, you
so
put
like
on-
you got a lot of time to watch 12 hours of.
It's a
fucking
great
Spielberg
vibes.
movies.
It's like chill, it's and anyway, so this Reddit thread I was reading, and it's I love Lord of the Rings because everyone is appreciated. Bill the pony who left at Moria, fan favorite. A literal siege weapon, fan favorite. Middle management orc who lectures Saruman, fan favorite. Anton Fire who puts itself out in the flood.
when he does the thing in
fan
the
favorite. Yeah. And
not
the Reddit
everyone's.
the title is "Who are your favorites?" And so in the comments down below, people just list like niche random interactions. The one hobbit in the first movie
that
who's
guy,
disgruntled at
yeah.
Gandalf's appearance, but is cheered up later on seeing him interacting with children. The troll does a bewildered reaction to Gothmog
Yes,
dodging the
bro.
change projectile. It was a
he's like,
great
"Oh."
Reddit thread. I really enjoyed this one.
You know what's really? I have a
There was
very
an old
like.
guy at Helm's Deep who landed a perfect shot. You know, to like kick off the war. Like this is just a bunch of great references here.
That's really weird that they brought that ogre up, by the way, because I used to rewind that on DVD to show my brother over and over again to make him laugh. Like, not kidding. Like, that's so.
Well,
like,
I mean,
that's
also,
a
I
very
don't think
deep
everyone's
cut,
a
but-
fan favorite because does anyone a fan favorite of Denethor?
Wait, is
I don't think
Denethor
so.
the old
Hell
guy who put his
yeah.
son on fire?
That's Boromir and Faramir's
Yeah,
dad.
no. There
No
was
one's a fan
actually a
favorite of that.
comment. There was actually a comment about that. And people were like, "Fuck you!" Like, you know,
Yeah.
fuck
Don't
off.
like
You
him.
gave the
No one likes that guy.
wrong answer. So
Our
yeah,
Christmas
it was
movie this year is Hot Rod.
it was
Andy Samberg.
Hot Rod.
it was a really
If you've
good
not seen
Reddit.
it, it's unbelievable.
Well, thank you, Johnny. That was a really good contribution.
I like that.
That was nice.
The innkeeper at the Prancing Pony.
Oh yeah,
He's a great guy. The one who
Well,
opens
okay,
up the
actually,
lid when
the
they're setting
innkeeper
rain.
is really good because when they
Yeah.
do the scene where they kick down the door and he's just like flattened into a pancake. Like, do you remember that? Where like there's like
That's
someone
tough,
like
yeah.
the,
They walk
guy's
over
like
him, yeah.
he does this and he's like, whoa, and then like the door just immediately and like he like vaporizes. Like he's like not even there anymore. They literally Looney Tunes flattened that guy. That's a good
Looney
scene.
Tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
There we
great.
go.
That's great. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was my contribution. Anyway, look, people loved it. I think there's a lot of Lord of the Rings fans in chat.
love
so
Lord of the Rings,
yeah, yeah, it was great.
This guy is cooked.
What else? Do you guys want to talk about aliens or what were those things called? Drones?
Nah,
What
he's
was the drones
reaching
thing?
now, bro. He's reaching.
Why are we
There are
looking to pad
drones
the runtime?
over New Jersey. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all there is.
I don't
I-
like.
well,
I don't care.
they're just
Like, do-
normal drones. And
yeah,
then
why
the
do people
thing
care
is-
about drones in New Jersey?
I don't think they're
Well,
normal.
that's the thing.
I-
Stephanie thought it
They're
was
6
aliens.
feet long. I don't think they're normal drones.
And then people were sending their drones up to see the other drones, and then people were sending their drones up to see the drones that were watching the drones.
No.
That's fine.
People said no.
It's just
Pe-
crazy people. It's literally
People
just
said-
crazy people.
People said.
You
people
have
said,
to understand.
Okay. People said that when they sent their drones to look at the drones, their drones like got fried and like died in mid-flight and fell down, despite being on full
Electromagnetic
batteries. That's what people said. That's what people said.
Nearly 99% guarantee that almost all of these stories are fake. I'm
Okay,
also
okay,
gonna say
but-
it's
but-
what?
If Stacks or Varuna say it, then I do believe it.
Oh, facts.
If who?
I
if
do believe
Varuna
it.
were to say it?
If
no,
Stacks
the
and
real
Varuna say it,
story
I believe it.
for conspiracy theorists is that a bunch of climate scientists crowdfunded sending flat earthers to Antarctica and
and he
disproved the
proved
flat
himself
earth
wrong.
to them.
Yes,
They
that was
literally,
so-
like, the flat earth guy was like, wait, I was wrong. They literally
That's so
crowdfunded
good.
sending a bunch of flat earthers to the Antarctica, and then the guy was like, holy shit, it's round.
Yeah.
Like, they literally did it.
I saw
You know
They
what? That is so good that I would like a bunch of billionaires to send me to space so that I can see the UFOs. And be like, damn it, I was. But then I get to go to space. So fuck
Ooh,
it.
that's true.
That's true.
I'm
I would
taking
also,
the trip. I'm taking the trip.
like to know. I've been told that money doesn't buy happiness. If a billionaire could donate me $1 billion just to test to see if money could not buy happiness, if they could just
Just
donate
a
to me,
test.
we could just to figure that out.
Just a
then,
test.
Dude,
then we
this
could
is
see
the
if that's
most
true, too.
US pilled fucking tweet I've ever seen, bro.
Yes.
FBI warns, do not shoot the fucking things in the skies. Do not use your weapons to shoot things. Like, it's so insane.
It's literally like passenger planes and shit that they're trying to like.
They're just
blind.
like-
So,
First of all, they couldn't hit the passenger planes anyway because they're like so high in the sky. But most importantly,
no,
people
they
forget-
reported it. Multiple passenger planes reported that they were getting hit with lasers. Because they have fucking 50,000 hillbillies all assembled out there pointing lasers in the sky, man.
Okay.
It's like
Lasers.
Megatron.
Okay. Lasers
Oh,
and bullets
fuck.
are completely different. I'm talking about a bullet's range is not.
No, I'm talking about the
hitting a-
lasers. Well, I'm talking about the laser, like the laser lights that they're pointing up there, which is dangerous for pilots and shit. And like,
Okay,
guidance
that's
systems.
okay. That is
blinds
super
people,
dangerous.
yeah.
That is super
It's
dangerous.
literally like battle for Voltron out there, man. Like they're putting out or Cybertron, not Voltron. Like there's so many lasers in the fucking sky. Not Voltron. My bad. Other Tron. Not the one with bikes, but the one with robots. But it's overall like that shit's crazy. Like that's crazy people. The flat earther
These are-
one is the fun one. This is the not
That
fun
is
one.
hilarious.
The
Wait,
New
the
Jersey
flat-
one is not the fun one.
Wait, did you see that video of them sending? Was that what you were talking about? The flat
Yeah, that's
earth
what
who
it's-
went to
Oh
the.
Yeah.
my God! Are you listening to
No, I don't
actually on the
know.
podcast right now?
I was
Fuck
not
out.
listening.
Then, bro,
Johnny's
is not
ready
here.
for Johnny's
I was
ready for
thinking of
dinner.
my own article.
His own article. What, you write one now?
Yeah,
you
we're all
fucking
contributing,
writing
so
them, bro?
I wanted to contribute something too. Yeah, besides
There
my
was a
Reddit
good.
thread.
That was a good.
It was a good video.
contribution. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good.
Do you have any fart coin? Do you have any fart coin?
I don't have any fart coin, unfortunately.
We need to stop before
don't.
we talk about the Hawk Tour coin. Okay, that's gonna go too far. We need to
Dude,
stop.
okay, no. The Hawk
She
Duo coin is
disappeared.
funny though,
She
because
won
of the
people
Twitter
for millions
Spaces.
and disappeared.
No, did you hear the audio of her on the Twitter Spaces where they're
Yes,
like,
I
they're
did.
having people
Oh, I'm
talking
gonna go to
her,
bed.
and then she's like, anywho, I gotta go to bed. Talk to you later, and then she just leaves.
Where is she? She's gone.
I don't know. I
You
don't
just
know.
took
where
people's
she's
money.
going. Do you think that she's now
Fuck.
in New Jersey, directing some of the? She's trying to cover her own track, so they're starting like an incident.
100%.
It's NBC
Sullivan,
News.
Sullivan.
It's NBC News. Come on.
Oh,
That's a good
fuck.
one.
No, the
That's
best
a good
comment.
one.
Oh,
The best-
fuck.
We got him. We
Oh,
got
the
his
fart
ass.
coins.
We got his
He
ass.
invested. He invested.
And you know what? Good sport. Good sport award goes to Johnny. Good sport award goes to Johnny. I like that from you.
Oh, good
shit,
times.
bro.
We got drones, we got fart coin, and we got flat
What a
earthers.
Is this what the commenters want? Is this what the
think-
commenters want? They want us to save the bullshit to the end instead of the beginning, bro?
We
Hey,
want to
we
do
could do this. We could do this.
15 minutes of
this.
bullshit
I'd
at the
be down.
start,
Surely
at the
it's
end,
better at
or
the
in the
end.
middle.
We will do it at
Surely.
the end.
Last bit of bullshit-
Ryan
last bit of-
fuck coin.
Last bit of bullshit from me is
Oh,
like
fuck.
Okay.
the whole Borderlands 4 thing dropped recently with the teasers and
Borderlands
stuff.
4?
And
I haven't
my
seen it.
favorite comment about Borderlands 4 was someone in the comments saying, "Yeah, I think a Hawk Tour reference will definitely make it into this game." It's like
Oh,
they
fuck,
always
that'd
try
be
to shove
sick.
in like references and cultural
there's gonna
shit
be.
into it.
I think I saw that. I've seen like multiple variations of posts where I feel like there's gonna be like a gun where it's like you shoot it and it's like hawk, 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 and then you shoot it and it's like Tua, and then you realize
That would be insane.
That's
so happening?
so funny.
Oh,
Oh my
So,
god.
it will
Down the-
dial down the toilet humor.
If the word skibbity ships in the game under my watch, I'm gonna cry,
You're gonna cry
real
tears.
tears.
I mean,
Skibbity.
that is a good quote, to be fair. I
Even
mean,
I'm
I'm gonna be honest.
control effing the code repository just to make sure.
I think it's one of those things where like it objectively is like a terrible like art as like video making as like video game making as an
Yeah.
art form, but you know it would go hard as fuck viral marketing and clips though. Like you know that shit
It
would,
would,
be going
yeah.
everywhere. Like it would. Now that's
page
one
of
of the
Reddit.
moments where you have to like bounce
There's
it out.
there's a brand managing or like a marketing guy sitting there right now with the fucking vein popping out like the dude in the classroom,
Yeah.
trying his hardest not
Yes.
to like. "Yeah, we have to do the skibbity like.
Dude, I think I saw. I swear to God, this might have been fake. I'm pretty sure I saw skibbities in Fortnite.
Johnny just linked that video, bro.
Oh, did he?
Oh my god, is that actually real? Is this real?
Here it comes.
We gotta watch. We
Here
gotta
it
watch.
comes. Full screen.
Oh,
There he
my.
is. There he is. It's camera guy. It's
plunger.
camera guy with the plungers. And there's Skibbity Toilet. There's Skibbity Toilet. Guy that's in the Skibbity universe like Marvel heroes. Skibbity.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Red pointing arrow. Whoa, skibbity fucking toilet, bro. That guy
my
probably makes fucking billions. Dude.
Oh,
fucking kill
Oh,
me, man.
it's so
and,
good.
and what did you say earlier,
So
Johnny?
good.
What would Fortnite do? What would Fortnite
What
do?
would
Overwatch,
Fortnite
we got a
do?
fucking new battle pass just dropped. Skibbity toilet Overwatch battle pass.
Dude,
fucking end me.
Skibbity battle pass would go so. Dude, the
Oh my
Skibbity
God.
toilet bundle.
How much is that in
legitimate
real life?
insanity.
How much does that actually cost?
Oh, my
22
V-Bucks.
I don't
Let's
know.
see. Let's see. 2,200 V-Bucks calculator.
Calculator.
Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry.
Calculating.
The V-Bucks are saying, Solomon, you could also probably bring this up. Here it is. Fortnite V-Bucks to USD calculator.
God, we're going deep in this one.
2,200 V-Bucks would be approximately at this time at the market value, $18. $18.
That's a
Bucks.
good price. That's a good
Now
price.
it's discounted because I mean at the 2,900 original value, that's close to 23.
It's discounted, but the same day it dropped, huh?
Yeah.
That's
This
smart.
is going
So
to
you're
make
telling me-
them
so
another
you-
$1 billion.
But if Overwatch does an $18 bundle, it's a problem. That's okay. All right.
Well, call me when it's Skibbity. Call me when it's Skibbity Winston.
Skibbity. Dude, is the original creator making money off this? Surely.
I don't know.
Surely.
Well, I mean, I don't understand how exactly you can monetize it because it's all based out of Gmod anyways. Which
Yeah,
is
that's a really weird
owned
like
by
loophole.
Valve,
Because that's a default like character model. Is the
Okay,
head,
we're too
right?
deep. We're too deep.
Dude,
We're talking about
2.5
copyright of
hours.
Skibidi from Gmod. We're too deep. That was the last
Skibidi.
episode of the year, guys. We're
We
taking
talked
out.
about the last thing
Good
we
ending.
talked about was fucking Skibidi Fortnite.
that
This
is
podcast
actually
is
fucked
fucked.
up. That's actually fucked up.
Can we do another one on Christmas Day?
No, that's the way it should be. Quality, you know, in ascending order. So we got to the bottom of it, and at the bottom of it was.
Our
Skibidi.
worst
decent,
episode
dude.
yet,
That'd be
guys.
decent in order, to be
Fucking
fair.
the end of 2024.
Guys, we didn't end the
Solomon,
year on
for
episode
the closure,
250.
Solomon, I don't have any Ford coins either. Okay, so come on, get my name out of there. Okay, come on.
He doesn't have any. He got the
Oh
Hot
my
Tour coin
God.
though. You know he bought in on
He's
that
got
one.
No,
me
I
and
did-
Shart Coin.
What is
got
happening?
Coin.
Enjoy your holidays, and we'll see you in 2025, guys.
Friends Pair of the Week.
Oh,
Quick.
best part of the week. That's
Dude,
right.
the
We've been
flat
forgetting.
Flat
earther
earther.
that
The
was
flat
convinced
earther.
the Earth
Yeah.
is round.
Yep,
Flat.
yep,
What's
yep,
his
yep,
name? We
that
gotta
guy.
find him. One
He
second.
did a
Solomon,
video. He did a vlog, a flat
Earther
Earth vlog.
Learns Earth is round. It is. Dude, where is it? Where is it? I can't
Mad
find
respect to him for not sticking to his guns and just being like, actually, I
Well,
Yes,
what do you
a
mean
lot of them
sticking
double
to your
down. A
guns?
lot of them do
What
double
choice
down.
do you have, bro?
No,
Well,
a lot of
bro,
them
you
double
gotta do-
down. You'd be
a lot of
surprised.
them double down, bro. They're like, actually, you know. fuck
Okay,
it.
It's
I
like
found it
Avril and
6
Aliens.
hours ago. Found it 6 hours ago. What's his name? But here's the article. Here's the article, though, Solomon. I will put it in there. This will be our Prince player. I think this is a legitimate win for science.
Legitimate win.
Legitimate win.
Yeah,
I think
there it is.
so-
Emotional reaction as well. God damn.
Emotional reaction. Okay, so it is Jaron Campanella, one of the most prominent flat earthers on YouTube, a truly powerhouse of mental acuity. That group. That is that he's gave a tearful. Sometimes you are wrong in life. My ass when I just discovered the Earth is round. And 2024.
What is he
But
gonna
sure.
do? Is his YouTube gonna take a 180 now and like turn into
He becomes
like,
a flat like a flat
a
Earth
glober,
denier.
a glober,
A glober.
whatever.
He becomes a glober. He's like, this is what they're not telling you. The Earth is so round.
Right. It's so
It's so
spherical.
round.
It's unbelievably.
You
like,
just don't
spherical, guys.
understand how round it is, man. Nike, I don't know.
And if you
Friends player
want
of
to
the
watch
week.
this episode, you can tune in on Christmas Day to a special episode of Plat Chat where we all react to this episode and co-stream it together live with
Oh
all the
my god.
this
And we'll also be
Plat
announcing
Chat
our
React.
new cryptocurrency, Flat Coin. Flat Coin will be arriving around then.
a
Then you're gonna
coin's not
post
always
this.
flat.
Oh,
This
fuck.
coin will be. This coin will be flat
This
because it's a
coin will
fiat.
be.
It's gonna be a fiat currency, so it's very flat. You know,
A fiat currency?
It's gonna be a fiat currency. It's gonna be resistant to deflationary and inflationary measures. It's gonna remain stable. And if you pull me into a Twitter Spaces, I'm just gonna be like, anywho, I gotta go to bed.
Oh fuck! This is Johnny. You said it went downhill, bro. This is our best episode ever, man.
This might be one of the best.
It's the best.
Might be one of the best of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty good actually.
All right, you
I
can
was-
go eat your fucking $90 steak now, brother. We've
That's
done
not
Brent's
$90.
He
What?
got it at a discount.
All right, go buy your fucking new $500 sets of tire
We got him.
rims,
We got him.
wheels, whatever.
Right.
All
Got
right.
him.
All right. Goodbye,
Fuck that
everybody.
guy's car.
Thank you for a good year. Bye.
Peace out.